They say love is a battlefield. But what if I told you that winning that battle doesn't require chasing, begging, or even explaining yourself? What if there's one psychological principle, backed by scientific studies, that makes 99% of exes come crawling back to you, even the ones who swore they'd never look back? Now let's be clear. This isn't about manipulation, mind games, or revenge. This is about harnessing a principle that has been proven time and time again. He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. That's Lao Tzu, and what he's saying is exactly why this works. When you master yourself, you become magnetic. Your ex can feel the shift, and suddenly they're the one chasing you. You see, most people make the same desperate mistakes after a breakup. They plead, they apologize endlessly, or worse, they lose themselves trying to prove their worth. But here's the kicker. The more you chase, the further they run. Psychologists call this the scarcity principle. It's simple. People desire what they can't easily have. And the moment you reclaim your power, they feel the loss. The truth is, what draws them back to you isn't your words or actions. It's your absence. Think of it like gravity. The more you focus on yourself, rebuild your confidence, and detach emotionally, the more you become like a force they can't ignore. Suddenly, your silence becomes deafening. Your absence becomes undeniable. This phenomenon is backed by studies on psychological reactance, which reveal that when something is taken away or becomes less accessible, its value increases dramatically. Your ex starts to realize that the version of you they once took for granted is no longer available. And guess what? That's exactly when they begin to question everything. Why? Because you've broken the cycle. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And it's that inner strength, your ability to move forward without them, that sends shockwaves through their mind. The beauty of this approach is that it's not about punishing them or playing mind games. It's about finally putting your own well-being first. And the moment you do, your value skyrockets. It's like you've stepped off their emotional pedestal and built one of your own. And when they notice the change, their curiosity and attraction are reignited like never before. Here's what's even crazier. When you follow this one principle, you don't just make them come back, you make them chase you. Because they're now battling with the fear of losing you for good. And as much as they try to deny it, their instincts won't let them walk away. So, if you're tired of waiting, tired of feeling powerless, and ready to flip the script once and for all, then stick around, because what I'm about to reveal could change everything. Not just for this relationship, but for every relationship you have from this day forward. If you're ready to reclaim your power and make them chase you, type this in the comments: I choose me. That's your mantra from now on. Because when you truly choose yourself, everyone else follows. Let's get started. Stay focused. Key point 1. The scarcity principle. The first key to making your ex come back and chase you is understanding the psychological power of absence, a phenomenon deeply rooted in what psychologists call the scarcity principle. This principle explains that people tend to value what is rare, limited, or suddenly unavailable. And when you remove yourself from your ex's life, you instantly create that sense of scarcity. Think about it. Humans are wired to want what they can't easily have. The moment you stop reaching out, stop apologizing, and stop trying to win them back, You trigger a fundamental shift in their mind. What was once abundant and easily accessible, your attention, your affection, your availability, is now gone. And their mind can't help but replay the moments they took you for granted. As Steve Jobs once said, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. When you withdraw your attention, you're not punishing them. You're showing them exactly what life without you feels like. And trust me, that realization hits harder than any speech, apology, or declaration of love ever could. Studies on psychological reactance reveal that when something is restricted or no longer available, its perceived value skyrockets. And here's the magic. By simply removing yourself from their life, you become something they must work to regain. Suddenly you're no longer an option, you're a priority. But here's the kicker. It only works when your absence is genuine. Not a ploy, not a tactic, but a sincere decision to focus on yourself, improve your life, and detach from the need for their validation. When you master this, you become someone they can't ignore. You're no longer the desperate person they left behind. You're now the person they can't stop thinking about. This step is crucial because it lays the foundation for everything that follows. Without creating this initial scarcity, your ex will continue to assume that you're there whenever they want. But the moment they realize you've truly pulled away, their curiosity and desire are reignited. Once you've created scarcity by removing yourself from their life, it's time to tap into one of the most powerful psychological principles of attraction, the law of reverse effort. Coined by philosopher and author Aldous Huxley, this principle states that the harder you try to achieve something, the more elusive it becomes. In other words, trying to force love or affection only drives it further away. Think about this. When you constantly reach out, apologize, or beg for their attention, you create resistance. You push them further away because they feel smothered, overwhelmed, or simply too comfortable knowing you'll always be there. The harder you try, the more they feel justified in their decision to leave. But the moment you let go and stop trying, everything changes. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, put it best. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. And this is where most people go wrong. They obsess over their ex's reactions, desperately seeking approval and affection instead of reclaiming their own power. But when you embrace the law of reverse effort and genuinely let go, something incredible happens. By shifting your focus away from them and toward your own growth and happiness, you create an energy of independence and confidence. And guess what? That's exactly what draws them back to you. This principle is backed by attachment theory, which shows that people are often more attracted to those who appear emotionally independent and self-sufficient. When your ex realizes you've stopped trying to win them back and have started thriving without them, they feel the pull of curiosity and desire. They wonder why you're suddenly so different, so calm, so powerful. Here's the key. Your ex needs to feel that your happiness no longer revolves around them, that your well-being is no longer in their control. This doesn't mean pretending to be fine. It means truly committing to your own growth, healing, and fulfillment. By letting go, you're not just playing hard to get. You're demonstrating something far more attractive, emotional freedom. And once your ex feels the shift, they'll be drawn back to you in ways they never expected. Now that you've embraced the power of absence and the law of reverse effort, it's time to understand the psychological principle that keeps you living rent-free in their mind, the Zeigarnik effect. named after Russian psychologist Bluma Zygarnik. This phenomenon explains why people remember incomplete or interrupted tasks far better than completed ones. And when it comes to relationships, nothing feels more incomplete than someone who walked away and didn't come chasing after them. Here's how it works. When your ex leaves, they expect you to react a certain way. They anticipate tears, begging, countless texts, and emotional explanations. When you don't give them what they expect, it leaves them feeling like there's unfinished business. That mental loop stays open, constantly poking at their thoughts like an itch they can't quite scratch. Psychologist Bluma Zygarnik discovered this phenomenon when she noticed that waiters could remember complex orders perfectly while they were still being prepared. But once the orders were completed and delivered, the memory faded. The same thing happens with your ex. If they believe you've moved on without giving them closure or validation, you become an unresolved memory they can't forget. Or as poet Rumi once said, don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. When you refuse to provide closure or fall back into predictable patterns, you're unfolding your own story, one where you're not chasing them but rather living fully for yourself. Here's the powerful part. The Zygarnik effect creates an obsessive need in your ex to resolve the emotional loose ends. They start to wonder why you haven't chased them, why you're so calm and centered, and why their decision didn't break you. This mental unease grows stronger each day they don't hear from you, eventually triggering them to reach out. But here's the kicker. When they do reach out, it's not because you've played some manipulative game. It's because you've authentically shifted your focus away from them. You've shown them through your actions, not words, that you are perfectly fine without them. And that reality terrifies them more than anything else. The Zygarnik effect works best when paired with genuine growth and healing. If you're simply pretending to be strong, they'll eventually see through it. But when your newfound strength and independence are real, they won't be able to shake the thought of losing you. You've learned how absence, letting go, and leaving things unresolved work to your advantage. Now let's take things even further with the contrast principle, a psychological concept that explains why your transformation becomes irresistibly attractive to your ex. The contrast principle suggests that when someone experiences something drastically different from what they're used to, the impact is far more powerful and memorable. In other words, if your ex expects you to be desperate, hurt, or emotionally weak, but instead finds you calm, happy, and thriving, the emotional impact on them is immense. This concept is beautifully summarized by the words of Carl Jung, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Your ex expects to find you dwelling in heartbreak, but instead, they find a person transformed by strength, resilience, and personal growth. The contrast is shocking, almost magnetic. Studies in social psychology have proven that contrast enhances desire. When something feels new, unfamiliar, and exciting, it becomes far more appealing. Your ex remembers you as the person they left behind, but now you're someone different, someone powerful, someone they can't quite figure out. And this mystery makes them want to know more. Here's the thing. Your transformation must be genuine. If you're faking confidence and pretending to be fine, it won't work. But if you truly invest in yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, your growth will be undeniable. Your ex will sense the change not just in how you look, but in how you carry yourself, how you speak, and most importantly, how little their opinion matters to you. Think of it like this. If they left you believing you would always be waiting for them, but instead they see you living your best life, they can't help but feel the urge to chase you. That's the power of contrast. You've redefined who you are, and the person they remember no longer exists. The contrast principle forces your ex to question their own judgment. They start to wonder if they were wrong about you, wrong about the breakup, and wrong about their decision to walk away. The more undeniable your transformation, the more powerful the contrast. But here's the key. You're not doing this for them. You're doing this for yourself. And when you truly commit to becoming the best version of you, their attraction becomes a mere byproduct of your own journey. Now that your transformation has created a striking contrast, it's time to dive into one of the most powerful psychological forces working in your favor: cognitive dissonance. This principle, first introduced by psychologist Leon Festinger, explains that when a person holds two conflicting beliefs or perceptions, it creates intense mental discomfort. And your ex. They're about to feel that discomfort in full force. You see, when your ex left, they likely justified their decision by believing things like, "I can do better. They'll never change. I'll be happier without them." But now, because of your growth, your newfound confidence, and the way you've genuinely moved on, their previous beliefs are being directly challenged. The person they thought you were, desperate, lost, emotionally broken, no longer exists. And that realization creates a psychological crisis in their mind. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "And when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you." When your ex looks at you now, they don't just see you, they see everything they misjudged, misunderstood, and underestimated. The longer they watch you thrive without them, the more they question their own judgment. This internal conflict between their old beliefs and their new reality forces them to reconsider their decision. They start asking themselves questions like, "Did I make a mistake? Why am I feeling this way? What if I gave up something amazing?" But here's where it gets interesting. Cognitive dissonance doesn't just cause discomfort. It creates motivation. The only way for them to relieve that discomfort is to resolve the inconsistency between their past decision and their current feelings. And the simplest way to do that: reaching out to you, attempting to rekindle what they threw away. But here's the key. Your ex must feel this discomfort long enough to recognize their mistake fully. If you reach out first, you rob them of the opportunity to face their own inner conflict. They need to realize, through their own thoughts and emotions, that they lost something of value. And when they do, it triggers a powerful desire to reconcile, to rewrite their own narrative, to make things right. But until then, the cognitive dissonance will continue to haunt them, pushing them closer to reaching out and trying to win you back. Now that cognitive dissonance has triggered your ex's inner turmoil, it's time to leverage another powerful psychological concept: the commitment and consistency principle. Introduced by psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini, this principle states that people have a deep desire to be consistent with what they have previously committed to. When their actions don't align with their beliefs or previous decisions, it creates discomfort they're driven to resolve. Here's how it applies to your situation. Your ex likely told themselves, and maybe even others, that breaking up with you was the right decision. They may have even justified their choice by mentally listing all the reasons why the relationship wasn't working. But now, as they see you thriving and standing strong in your own power, their previous narrative begins to collapse. They've committed to the belief that they don't need you, that they made the right choice by walking away. But as you continue to grow, evolve, and remain unbothered, the inconsistency between their belief and their current feelings creates unbearable discomfort. They feel compelled to reconcile their past decision with their present emotions. As Warren Buffett wisely said, what the human being is best at doing is interpreting all new information so that their prior conclusions remain intact. But here's the twist. When your transformation is undeniable, their previous conclusion becomes impossible to defend. Now, their brain begins working overtime to resolve this inconsistency. They start rationalizing why they feel drawn to you again, even if they can't fully understand why. They may try to convince themselves, maybe we just needed time apart to grow. Maybe I was too quick to judge. Maybe they've changed, and so have I. And this is where things get interesting. The more they think about you, the stronger their desire to reconnect becomes. The urge to make things right isn't just emotional, it's psychological. Their mind is literally pushing them to act, to align their actions with their new, evolving belief. That maybe, just maybe, they made a huge mistake by letting you go. Here's the critical part. By not reaching out, by continuing to focus on yourself, you're allowing them to experience the full power of their own cognitive dissonance. You're giving them the space to reevaluate, to question, and ultimately to chase you out of their own need to resolve this inner conflict. And when they finally reach out, it won't be because you tried to force them. It'll be because their own mind couldn't take the inconsistency anymore. That's how you truly turn the tables. Now we arrive at one of the most potent psychological triggers of all, the fear of missing out, FOMO. This principle explains why people feel a deep sense of anxiety and urgency when they perceive they are missing out on something valuable, exciting, or exclusive. And when it comes to relationships, nothing activates FOMO like the thought of you moving on and living your best life without them. Psychologist Dan Ariely, a pioneer in behavioral economics, stated, "We are always looking at the things we can't have, what we can't do, and what we haven't experienced. And guess what? Your ex is no exception. They're human, and the idea of you finding happiness, success, and even love without them can become a relentless mental torture." But here's the thing. You can't fake this. If you pretend to be happy and thriving just to make them jealous, they will see right through it. Instead, your growth must be authentic. Your newfound confidence, your emotional independence, your achievements, and your positive outlook on life must be real. The more you embrace your own growth, the more their FOMO intensifies. They see you making progress, having fun, building new connections, and genuinely enjoying life. And that's when their thoughts spiral. Have they moved on? What if someone else sees their worth? What if I lost them for good? This fear is only amplified when they realize you're no longer accessible. You're no longer giving them the same attention, the same validation, or the same emotional availability. The very fact that you've detached makes them question everything. As author Paulo Coelho once wrote, "When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. But when they fear losing you, their own mind conspires against them. Their imagination becomes their worst enemy, painting vivid pictures of you finding happiness with someone else. FOMO is a powerful driver of action. It forces your ex to confront their own worst fears and ultimately to make a move before it's too late. And when they do, it won't be out of pity or obligation. It will be out of genuine desire and panic over losing you for good. Now you know the truth. Your ex's return isn't just a matter of chance. It's the result of powerful psychological principles that force them to rethink, regret, and ultimately chase after you. You've learned how the scarcity principle, law of reverse effort, Zeigarnik effect, contrast principle, cognitive dissonance, commitment and consistency principle, and fear of missing out, FOMO, all work together to completely transform their perception of you. But here's the most important part. You're not doing this to get them back. You're doing this to get yourself back. The irony is, the moment you truly reclaim your own power, they feel the loss like never before. Your absence becomes their obsession. Your growth becomes their regret. And your strength becomes their weakness. As the legendary poet Rumi once said, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you truly love. It will not lead you astray, and the most powerful thing you can love right now is your own growth and healing. Because when you elevate yourself, you become a magnet, not just to your ex, but to everyone around you. But here's the catch. This transformation must be real. If you're simply waiting around for them to notice you, they'll see right through it. But when you genuinely focus on yourself, something magical happens. They can't ignore it. They can't stop thinking about it. And eventually, they can't resist coming back. So here's your challenge. Stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start living. Take all the energy you once poured into them and invest it back into yourself. Because when you do, you're not only reclaiming your power, you're making yourself impossible to forget. Now, I want you to make a declaration of your own. Drop this mantra in the comments right now. I choose me. Because that's where real power comes from. And if you're ready to truly master these principles and reclaim your power for good, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to help you step fully into your own strength. Remember, you're not just the prize. You're the only prize worth chasing. I'll see you in the next video. They say time heals all wounds. But what if time only reveals the truth? Maybe you've been waiting, hoping, clinging to the possibility that your ex will come back. You replay conversations, dissect every text, and wonder if they're thinking about you as much as you think about them. But here's the harsh truth. Sometimes they've already moved on, and you need to do the same. As Lao Tzu said, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. It's hard to accept, but the moment you realize they've truly moved on can be the most liberating moment of your life. Instead of feeling broken, you can feel free. Instead of drowning in regret, you can rise with purpose. But how do you know when your ex has truly moved on? How can you separate wishful thinking from cold, hard reality? In today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 unmistakable signs that your ex has let go, and why you need to do the same if you want to reclaim your power. And before you assume the worst, understand this. Knowing these signs isn't about giving up. It's about clarity. Clarity gives you control, and control allows you to rebuild, reinvent, and rise higher than you ever thought possible. If you're tired of the guessing games, if you're ready to face the truth and find your own path forward, then keep watching. Albert Einstein once said, In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The pain of letting go can be transformed into the strength of moving forward. Because here's the reality. When you finally accept that someone has moved on, you reclaim the power to create a future that no longer revolves around them. Maybe you've been stuck in a loop of overthinking, desperately searching for signs that they still care. Maybe you've convinced yourself that silence means hope. But the truth is, silence can also mean closure. And if you're brave enough to accept that, you can build something far more valuable than lost love. You can build yourself. As we go through these 3 powerful signs, I want you to keep one thing in mind. This isn't about them, it's about you. Understanding that your ex has moved on isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of something new and stronger. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize the signs that your ex has moved on, but you'll also understand how to transform that painful realization into the very thing that empowers you to move forward with unshakable confidence. So, if you're ready to break free from the past and embrace your future, hit that like button, subscribe, and type this mantra in the comments below. I choose to move forward. Because this is your journey, and you deserve nothing less than the best version of yourself. Now let's dive in. Sign number 1. They've stopped all communication. The first and most obvious sign that your ex has moved on is when they completely cut off communication. No more late-night texts, no more checking in on how you're doing, and absolutely no interest in your life anymore. It's not just silence, it's intentional distance. When someone has truly moved on, they don't feel the need to reach out. They're not curious about what you're doing because their focus has shifted entirely to their own life. As motivational speaker Tony Robbins famously said, "Where focus goes, energy flows." If their energy is no longer directed at you, it's a strong indicator that their mind and heart have already moved forward. This isn't about them trying to play mind games or make you chase them. It's about genuine disinterest. They've accepted that the relationship is over, and they're choosing to invest their time and emotions elsewhere. Maybe it's work, personal growth, new relationships, or simply enjoying their own peace. You might think, but what if they're just giving me space? Sure, sometimes silence can be a temporary strategy, but when it's paired with consistency over time, it's a clear sign they've closed that chapter. They're not blocking you out to get a reaction. They're simply not interested in reopening the door. What's even more telling is when they actively avoid situations where they might run into you. They're not just ignoring your messages. They're making sure their life no longer intersects with yours. Whether it's unfollowing you on social media, declining invitations to mutual gatherings, or simply steering clear of anything that reminds them of you. It's all about creating emotional distance. Recognizing this sign is difficult because it requires you to accept something most people resist. Their silence is their answer. They're choosing to move forward. And now, so must you. Instead of holding on to hope, it's time to refocus your energy on what matters most. Your own healing and growth. This isn't a punishment or a loss. It's a wake-up call. Your ex is showing you that they've let go. And once you accept that, you'll find the freedom to do the same. Because real strength isn't about waiting for someone to return. It's about embracing your own journey and moving forward with clarity and confidence. Sign number 2. They're building a new life without you. The second clear sign that your ex has moved on is when they actively start building a new life that doesn't include you. This isn't just about them going on dates or finding someone new. It's about them embracing personal growth, pursuing new goals, and creating a lifestyle where your presence simply doesn't fit anymore. Oprah Winfrey once said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude." And that's exactly what your ex is doing, shifting their attitude, their environment, and their ambitions towards something that doesn't involve you. Maybe they've taken up new hobbies, started hanging out with different people, or even relocated to a new place altogether. They're not just trying to distract themselves, they're genuinely investing in their own happiness and well-being. And here's the brutal truth. You are no longer part of that happiness equation. What makes this sign even more powerful is the intention behind their actions. They're not just trying to mask their pain or avoid feeling lonely. Instead, they're proactively designing a life that aligns with who they want to be moving forward. They've chosen to heal by evolving rather than clinging to the past. Their social media might be filled with new experiences, travel adventures, or personal achievements. And while part of you wants to believe they're doing it all to get your attention, the reality is much simpler. They've chosen themselves over the relationship. They've realized that their happiness doesn't depend on winning you back. It depends on building something better for themselves. Now, you might be thinking, what if it's all just for show? And sure, sometimes people pretend to be happier than they really are. But when their actions are consistent, when they're genuinely working toward a new reality without you, that's not a performance. It's a transformation. Recognizing this sign is tough because it feels like being left behind. But the truth is, you're not being left behind. You're simply not walking the same path anymore. And if they've chosen to move forward, then maybe it's time for you to do the same. The only way to heal is to start building your own life, one that doesn't depend on their validation or approval. Sign number 3. They've found emotional closure. The third undeniable sign that your ex has moved on is when they have achieved emotional closure. They are no longer looking for explanations, apologies, or validations from you. Instead, they have made peace with what happened and moved forward. As Brené Brown wisely said, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. Your ex has chosen to walk inside their story, accepting the breakup for what it was, rather than trying to rewrite the past or look to you for healing. What does emotional closure look like? It's when they can talk about you or the relationship without anger, bitterness, or longing. They've released the emotional baggage that once tied them to you. Instead of blaming you or themselves, they've chosen to accept the lessons, forgive where needed, and move on. You'll notice it in their actions and words. Maybe they can genuinely wish you well without resentment. Perhaps they've even expressed gratitude for the good moments you shared, but with a calmness that shows they're no longer clinging to the past. They're not reaching out for closure because they've already found it within themselves. Here's the thing. Closure isn't about forgetting, it's about acceptance. And once they've reached that point, their focus shifts entirely to their own growth and future. They're no longer waiting for you to make things right or offer some magical explanation that changes everything. They've built their own peace, and it no longer requires your involvement. The toughest part about this realization is that it forces you to confront your own need for closure. Are you still waiting for them to reach out and say something that will magically make the pain go away? Are you clinging to the hope that one conversation could fix everything? Their emotional closure is a powerful sign because it highlights a truth you might be avoiding. You need to create your own closure too. Not from them, but from yourself. And once you do, you'll understand that true healing doesn't come from someone else's words. It comes from your own acceptance. The moment you recognize they've found peace is the moment you must begin building your own. Understanding these signs can be painful, but it's also powerful. Because when you realize your ex has truly moved on, you're faced with a choice. Stay stuck in the past or reclaim your future. As philosopher Seneca once said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. This is your moment to create something new. Not just another relationship, but a new version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and fully at peace. Here's the truth. The moment you stop looking back is the moment you start moving forward. The signs that they've moved on aren't meant to hurt you. They're meant to free you, to push you toward your own healing, your own growth, and your own happiness. It's time to stop waiting for closure from someone else and start building your own. Because real freedom isn't found in waiting for someone to come back. It's found in letting go and building something greater than you ever had before. If you're ready to reclaim your power, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. I will not chase. Let this be your declaration to the universe that you are no longer waiting for someone else's approval to feel whole. This is your journey, and you deserve nothing less than the best version of yourself. Keep watching, because the tools to transform your pain into power are right here. You've got this. I'll see you in the next. Picture this. Your ex is back and the real challenge is just beginning. A thrilling journey where you hold the secret to keeping their interest alive. This isn't merely a reunion. It's a chance to create a magnetic connection that transforms every encounter into something unforgettable. As you step into this new chapter, remember that your true power lies in being unapologetically yourself. Radiate confidence and let your growth speak volumes. As Aristotle wisely noted, the energy of the mind is the essence of life. Use that energy to shine with a brilliance that draws them in every time. This isn't about settling for what was. It's about evolving into a version of yourself that's dynamic, captivating, and irresistible. Your return is the perfect moment to showcase how you've transformed, proving that your worth only increases with time. Authenticity is your strongest asset. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's timeless words, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Let your actions reflect your inner strength and unique character. Show them that you're not just back, you're better than ever. Reigniting interest means establishing a new dynamic where you're in control. Instead of reverting to old patterns, embrace your independence and let your personal journey flourish. Every step you take forward creates an allure that keeps them eagerly watching your every move. Remember Oscar Wilde's famous advice, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." When you present your genuine self, you remind your ex of the qualities that made you so captivating in the first place. Authenticity never goes out of style. It only deepens the intrigue. Throughout this video, I'll reveal powerful strategies designed to ensure you remain the most compelling part of their life. You'll learn how to harness subtle cues, confident communication, and a vibrant energy that keeps the spark alive, making every interaction count. Imagine turning every moment you share into a captivating dance of energy and admiration. When you focus on your own growth, you create an irresistible pull that makes them eager to stay connected time and time again. This isn't about chasing a past that no longer fits. It's about building a future where your value is undeniable. Your transformation isn't just noticed, it's admired. and it becomes the reason they can't take their eyes off you. If you're ready to unlock the secrets to keeping your ex interested and transforming every encounter into a lasting spark, hit that like button, subscribe, and type "I am unstoppable" in the comments below. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what's coming next will completely reshape your approach to love and self-empowerment. When your ex returns, the very first thing you should do is to pause and center yourself. It's natural to feel a rush of emotions, nostalgia, excitement, even confusion. But before you react, take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment of stillness. Remember, this is your time to recalibrate, not to succumb to old patterns or knee-jerk reactions. Start by assessing your emotional state without judgment. Acknowledge any lingering feelings, but also remind yourself that you're in control. As Buddha wisely said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This moment of introspection is crucial to ensure that your actions are driven by clarity and self-respect rather than impulsiveness. Next, reflect on the journey you've been on since your breakup. Recognize the growth and healing that has taken place in your life. Whether it's through new hobbies, strengthened relationships, or renewed self-awareness, your progress is your power. This is your foundation, solid, unshakable, and worthy of celebration. Before engaging with your ex, establish your boundaries clearly in your mind. Think about what you're willing to accept and what you've learned about mutual respect and healthy communication. As Maya Angelou reminded us, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. Holding on to your values is the best way to protect your heart. It's also essential to decide what you truly want from this renewed connection. Ask yourself if their return aligns with the person you're becoming, or if it's simply a habit from the past. This self-inquiry will help you navigate the encounter with intention rather than fear or longing. Focus on maintaining your independence. Remember that their return does not define your worth or dictate your future. You have worked hard to reclaim your power, and this is not the time to let old insecurities creep back in. Instead, let your calm and collected presence speak for itself. Embrace the moment with confidence. Instead of being swept up in the whirlwind of emotions, let your actions be deliberate and measured. This approach will not only keep you grounded, but will also signal that you are in charge of your own happiness. As Steve Jobs once said, your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. Apply that same principle to your relationships. Acknowledge that their return might be motivated by uncertainty or regret rather than genuine change. It's important to be compassionate to yourself in this process. By taking a step back first, you avoid getting entangled in a potentially repetitive cycle, and instead, you create space for true healing and growth. Keep in mind that this moment of pause is not about shutting them out completely. It's about regaining control of your narrative. You deserve the time to decide if their return is something that adds value to your life, or if it's just a temporary distraction from your ongoing personal evolution. Commit to moving forward with intentionality. Your calm, reflective response sets the tone for any future interactions. It's a promise to yourself that you will always prioritize your well-being and self-respect over fleeting emotions. This is your time to shine on your own terms. Now that you've centered yourself, the next step is to set clear boundaries and expectations. This means taking the time to reflect on what you need from this renewed connection and what behaviors you'll no longer tolerate. It's about protecting the progress you've made since the breakup, while still leaving room for genuine reconnection. Think back to the lessons you learned during your time apart. Identify the patterns that once brought you pain and decide, without compromise, that they won't be allowed back into your life. This clarity empowers you to create a space where mutual respect is not just desired, but expected, ensuring that any future interactions are built on a healthier foundation. Setting boundaries is not a defensive measure. It's a powerful affirmation of your self-worth. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." By clearly stating your limits, you're declaring that your well-being matters above all else, and that you deserve to be treated with the utmost respect. When communicating these boundaries, be honest and assertive. Whether it involves how often you engage, what topics are off-limits, or the level of emotional investment you're willing to revisit, your clarity will help guide the conversation. Your ex may test these limits, but maintaining consistency shows that your growth is non-negotiable. It's important to understand that setting boundaries isn't about closing yourself off. It's about establishing a safe space where both of you can interact in a mature and respectful way. This proactive approach not only safeguards your heart, but also sets the tone for what a balanced relationship should look like moving forward. By firmly establishing your limits from the very beginning, you ensure that the reunion is based on mutual understanding and respect. With these boundaries in place, you're not just opening the door for your ex's return. You're defining the rules of engagement that will keep the relationship evolving on healthier terms. The third thing you should do is invest in yourself. Actively pursue your own growth and happiness. While reconnecting with your ex might stir up old memories and emotions, it's essential that you don't lose sight of who you are now. This is the time to shine by focusing on your passions, your dreams, and the new opportunities that have emerged in your life since the breakup. Rather than getting caught up in the past, channel your energy into self-improvement. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, advancing your career, or deepening your existing relationships, every step you take to enrich your life not only reinforces your independence, but also makes you irresistibly magnetic. As Steve Jobs famously said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Let that passion fuel your transformation. Embracing self-care goes beyond physical well-being. It's about nurturing your emotional and mental health too. Take time to reflect, meditate, or engage in activities that bring you joy and peace. When you prioritize your well-being, you radiate a confidence that is impossible to ignore, and your ex will undoubtedly notice this new, empowered version of you. This phase is all about demonstrating that you're not waiting around for validation. Instead, you're actively building a fulfilling life that stands on its own. Your journey of self-growth sends a clear message. Your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else, and that's a quality that commands respect and admiration. By focusing on your personal development, you not only enhance your own life, but also set a powerful example. You prove that even if your ex returns, you're prepared to maintain your standards and continue evolving. Embrace this opportunity to invest in yourself. It's the ultimate act of self-love and the surest way to keep any relationship dynamic on your terms. The fourth thing you should do is to open up an honest, transparent dialogue with your ex. Now that you've centered yourself, set clear boundaries, and invested in your own growth, It's time to bridge the gap with clear communication that reflects who you are today. This means initiating conversations that focus on your current feelings and expectations. Instead of dwelling on past grievances or old habits, use this opportunity to articulate what you both need moving forward. A sincere conversation can clarify any lingering misunderstandings and lay the groundwork for a healthier dynamic. As Nelson Mandela wisely observed, talk to someone about it, and you will realize that it is not as scary as it seems. Embracing vulnerability in your discussions is not a sign of weakness, but rather an invitation to genuine connection and mutual understanding. This openness can help dispel any residual doubts and set a clear tone for what you expect from each other. In these conversations, stay calm and assertive. Focus on expressing your needs, sharing your growth, and listening actively to what they have to say. This balanced exchange not only reaffirms your progress, but also demonstrates that you're no longer defined by past conflicts. You're ready for a new chapter built on mutual respect. Keep in mind that this dialogue isn't about rehashing old issues, but about aligning your visions for the future. Ask thoughtful questions, share your reflections, and confirm that you're both on the same page. This clarity will prevent assumptions from taking root and ensure that any renewed connection is grounded in honesty. Ultimately, open communication is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. By expressing yourself clearly and inviting your ex to do the same, you create a space for both healing and growth. This mature, transparent approach sets the stage for a balanced dynamic, empowering you to shape the relationship on your terms. The fifth thing you should do is to give them space while demonstrating that your life is flourishing without constant validation. After re-establishing dialogue and setting your boundaries, it's crucial to strike a balance between being open and being elusive. Instead of being at their beck and call, allow moments of absence that remind them of your independent, thriving self. When you intentionally create healthy distance, you signal that you're not entirely dependent on their presence for your happiness. This isn't about playing games. It's about honoring your growth and reinforcing your self-worth. When you're busy living a full, engaging life, your ex begins to see that your return isn't a safety net, but rather a bonus to an already rich existence. This space works like a mirror, reflecting the progress you've made. It encourages them to appreciate your evolution and to realize that your presence is something to be valued rather than taken for granted. Your independence becomes a beacon of attraction, urging them to consider what they might be missing. Confucius once said, "Silence is a true friend who never betrays." In this context, your quiet moments, your brief unavailability, and your focused energy serve as powerful reminders of your intrinsic worth. They aren't about withholding affection, but about demonstrating that you have a life that is meaningful and dynamic. The sixth thing you should do is to reinvigorate your connection through shared experiences. After you've taken the time to center yourself, set boundaries, invest in personal growth, open an honest dialogue, and create space, it's time to actively nurture the bond you once had, only this time with a fresh perspective and newfound confidence. Imagine planning activities that are both meaningful and fun. Whether it's revisiting a favorite spot from your past or exploring a new adventure together, these shared experiences are the building blocks for a renewed, dynamic relationship. They create a space where both of you can rediscover what originally drew you together, without the weight of old expectations. These moments of togetherness allow you to demonstrate that your connection can evolve and thrive beyond its former confines. As Helen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." Each positive experience, each laugh shared and memory made, reinforces the idea that you can co-create something even stronger and more vibrant than before. While enjoying these moments, focus on being present and authentic. This isn't about forcing nostalgia or recreating the past exactly as it was. It's about celebrating the progress you've both made. By enjoying each shared experience, you're not only keeping your ex interested, but you're also paving the way for a more mature, fulfilling relationship that respects your individual growth. Embrace the power of these shared moments as a way to show that while you both have changed, the best parts of your connection can still shine through. This approach doesn't just sustain their interest, it builds a foundation for a future where both of you continue to evolve together, creating new memories that speak to your renewed bond. The seventh thing you should do is to cultivate a future-focused mindset, one that keeps the connection dynamic while celebrating your individual evolution. As you re-establish your bond, remember that growth is a continuous process, both for you and for your relationship. Embrace the idea that maintaining your spark isn't just about holding on to what you had. It's about actively building something new together. Keep exploring common interests and setting shared goals that inspire you both. As Confucius once said, "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." Equally important is preserving your individuality. Your unique passions and pursuits are what make you captivating. Continue to invest in your personal growth, ensuring that your energy and creativity remain vibrant. This balance of togetherness and independence creates a dynamic that is both enriching and resilient. Incorporate regular check-ins into your routine. Openly discuss your dreams, challenges, and the progress you're making, both as individuals and as a couple. Honest communication about your future aspirations can deepen your bond and keep the momentum alive, ensuring that both of you feel seen and supported. Never lose sight of the fact that a thriving relationship is built on mutual respect, continuous learning, and the willingness to adapt. Embrace change and view challenges as opportunities to strengthen your connection further. Each experience, whether joyful or challenging, adds depth and dimension to your shared journey. By continually focusing on a future of shared growth and personal fulfillment, you transform your connection into something vibrant and enduring. Keep nurturing the spark with ongoing creativity, open dialogue, and the courage to dream big together. Because the future you build together is the ultimate testament to your renewed bond. As we wrap up, remember that keeping your ex interested isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about showcasing the best version of yourself and building a connection based on mutual growth and respect. Each step you take, from setting healthy boundaries to creating shared experiences, not only revitalizes your relationship, but also reinforces your own strength and independence. You've learned that your power lies in being true to who you are, and by investing in yourself, you remind them of the unique energy you bring into the relationship. Embrace every opportunity to grow, communicate openly, and nurture that spark. It's your journey of self-discovery and empowerment that truly makes a lasting impression. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on your own progress and the steps you're ready to take. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and share this video with anyone who might need a boost in reclaiming their power. And before you go, comment below with your personal mantra. For example, type, "I am unstoppable," to remind yourself and others of the incredible strength within. If you've made it to the end of this video, comment, "I rise above." Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. Stay empowered, keep evolving, and remember, your worth is undeniable, and your future is in your hand. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. But does it really? Sometimes all the signs point to your ex moving on, yet a single clue can flip the script overnight. Today, I'm about to reveal the one unmistakable sign that proves they're coming back for sure. Don't blink. You don't want to miss this. People believe that once an ex is gone, they're gone for good. But real life isn't that simple. Breakups can be messy, feelings can linger, and regrets tend to sneak up when we least expect them. The course of true love never did run smooth, William Shakespeare once wrote. And this couldn't be more relevant when it comes to exes who just can't make up their minds. You see, your ex might be silent on social media or acting distant in person, but silence is not always the final word. Often it's a mask for deeper emotions, ones they're reluctant to face. But if they're giving off a particular signal, there's a strong chance they're not as over you as they pretend to be. And trust me, you'll know it when you see it. Now, I'm not talking about random interactions or occasional small talk. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart, said Jane Austen. And that tenderness can show up in the smallest of gestures, from a heartfelt text to a curious glance. When you recognize this specific clue, you'll feel it resonate instantly. It's genuine, it's unplanned, and it cuts straight through all the post-breakup games. By the end of this video, you'll have crystal clear insight into how your ex's mind works when they're on the brink of coming back. Because guess what? People don't just wake up one day and decide they made a mistake. They agonize over it, and they can't hide that emotional process forever. So make sure you stick around. The sign I'm about to share is the clearest possible indicator that your ex has one foot back in the door. Think about how many times you've checked their social media, reread old messages, or wondered if you made a mistake too. You're not alone. Your ex does the same. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. Ernest Hemingway once said, "Relationships are a craft, and sometimes the only way to learn is through heartbreak." This sign proves they've been doing some serious soul-searching. You might even catch yourself doubting your instincts, thinking it's just wishful thinking. But when the mind and heart collide, clues slip out in unexpected ways. The ex who was once cold or indifferent can become curious, attentive, or surprisingly tender. Their energy changes, and you'll notice it if you're paying attention, which is exactly why you need to hear what's coming up next. Before we get into the exact details of this sign, remember the wisdom of Eleanor Roosevelt. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You hold the power here. Whether they come back or not doesn't define your worth. Yet recognizing this sign can give you a head start if you do want to rebuild what was lost. Now, if you're ready to empower yourself with the knowledge of the one undeniable sign that tells you your ex is coming back, I encourage you to watch this video until the very end. You'll discover not just the sign itself, but also how to handle it once you see it. Because the moment you detect it, everything in your dynamic shifts. Before we dive deeper, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I see the sign. Let this be your personal mantra, and your declaration that you're prepared for whatever comes next. Because when you do see the sign, you'll be ready to handle it with strength, clarity, and confidence. Sign number 1. They can't stop checking up on you. Indirect curiosity. They light up your notifications. Your ex may not come right out and say they miss you, but their actions speak volumes. One of the first signs they're coming back for sure is an unusual spike in how often they appear in your digital life. Suddenly they're liking your posts or checking your stories more than ever. They'll insist it's just casual browsing, but there are no accidents, as Sigmund Freud famously pointed out. Mutual friends start mentioning them. While they might not directly message you, they're still craving intel. So they turn to the friends you share in common. Don't be surprised if those friends mention your ex asking how you're doing. This seemingly harmless curiosity is a key indicator they're too invested to move on. Deep down, they're testing the waters to see if you're still open to reconnecting. They flirt with the scene and read receipts. Ever notice how they pop into your DMs, then disappear before you can reply, or view your profile minutes after you post something new? The only thing more unthinkable than leaving was staying. The only thing more impossible than staying was leaving, wrote Elizabeth Gilbert. Your ex feels torn between wanting to act cool and needing to know if you still notice them. They subtly adjust their online persona. Suddenly their posts or stories take on a certain tone that seems directed at you. Maybe they're quoting songs that meant something to both of you, or sharing memes you'd always laugh at together. These posts serve a dual purpose. They let you know they're still thinking about you, and they provide a face-saving way to re-establish emotional contact without confessing it outright. Their ego battles. Their curiosity. They don't want to appear desperate, so they'll often interact right up to the line without crossing it. They might even delete a like or remove a comment, hoping you won't catch them snooping. But the fact remains, they're watching. We cannot escape our emotions. We only learn to manage them, said Aristotle. Their emotions are driving them back to you, even if they fight it every step of the way. Why this matters. This indirect curiosity shows that they're not over you. If someone truly moves on, they don't feel the need to stay updated on your every move. The more they monitor your life, the more obvious it becomes. They're not just interested, they're inching toward a possible reunion, often without realizing it themselves. This is your sign, number 1. Their digital shadow is everywhere you look. When someone can't stop checking up on you, whether through social media, mutual friends, or sneaky late-night views of your profile, it's a strong clue they're seriously considering coming back. Sign number 2. They reminisce about the good times. They bring up old memories. One key indicator your ex is considering a reunion is when they start revisiting moments from your shared past. Whether it's a random text about that hilarious trip you two took, or a social media comment referencing an inside joke, they're consciously revisiting happier times. As the playwright Tennessee Williams wrote, time is the longest distance between two places. If they're closing that distance by recalling the past, it's a powerful sign they're not ready to let go. They compare new experiences to old ones. Listen closely when they talk about recent events in their life. If they start highlighting how nothing quite measures up to what they had with you, they're effectively telling you those memories still hold weight. They may phrase it casually, but the subtext is loud and clear. Our time together felt different, better. They get sentimental over everyday moments. Maybe it's the smell of your favorite coffee blend or a certain song that plays on the radio. If they mention these mundane triggers and how they suddenly reminded them of you, take note. They're letting you know their heart's still anchored to the simple everyday joys you once shared. It's the little details that are vital, said basketball legend John Wooden. These small details often hint at something bigger stirring below the surface. They encourage you to remember. 2. When they try to bring you along on this nostalgic trip, prompting you to recall specific moments with them, they're making an emotional bid. They want you to mirror their sense of longing, or, at the very least, acknowledge it. Memory is the diary that we all carry about with us, wrote Oscar Wilde. If they're constantly flipping through that diary in your presence, they're definitely revisiting you in their mind. Why they do it? Revisiting happy memories helps them soften the emotional landscape. They're essentially testing whether you also look back fondly. If you respond positively, they take it as a green light to push the conversation deeper. If you respond with indifference, they know to tread carefully. Essentially, they're measuring the gap between your current feelings and the nostalgia they're trying to rekindle. Why it matters. People who have truly moved on rarely dive into nostalgia with their ex. They may recall the past, but they don't yearn for it. When your ex starts bringing up old memories and shared laughs, it's more than casual chatter. It's an admission that the bond you had still means something to them. Their willingness to revisit those moments is a subtle but powerful sign they're considering a return to your life. Sign number 3. Their emotions start showing, even when they try to hide them. Sometimes when your ex unexpectedly snaps or shows annoyance over small things, it's because their feelings are still on high alert. They might act like they're over you, but unresolved emotions have a way of bubbling to the surface. Sigmund Freud once noted, "Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways." In this case, their irritation is proof there's still emotional investment beneath the facade. If they hear about you going on a date or pursuing new interests, their reaction might be more intense than what a truly indifferent ex would display. They may try to mask it with casual interest or offhand remarks, but a subtle twinge of jealousy is often a dead giveaway that they still care, and deeply. Have they ever dropped a heartfelt message out of the blue saying something like, "I miss talking to you," or "I've been thinking about us lately"? These admissions can slip out late at night or during moments of vulnerability, revealing the emotional turmoil they can no longer bottle up. According to poet Maya Angelou, there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Your ex's story is still unfolding, and they can't keep it hidden forever. Even if their words say, "I'm fine," their body language might tell another story. Watch for lingering eye contact, nervous fidgeting, or leaning in closer when you speak. These signs indicate their defenses are dropping, showing they're more emotionally invested than they care to admit. A surefire signal that they're on the verge of returning is when they feel compelled to right past wrongs. Whether it's a straightforward apology or a vague mention of, "If only I had handled things differently," this emotional transparency points to unresolved guilt. There's no middle way for regret, observed writer Nathaniel Hawthorne. If they're voicing regret, they're no longer content with the way things ended. When emotions overflow, it's because the rational mind can't contain them any longer. Real change and potential reunions often bloom from these honest, unfiltered moments. If your ex is displaying emotions, even negative ones, it signals that the connection they once had with you isn't dormant. And when emotion takes the wheel, it's often just a matter of time before they make a move to come back. Sign number 4. They start making future plans that subtly include you. One key sign your ex is contemplating a reunion is when they begin hinting at future get-togethers or events. No longer content with the polite small talk of, "How have you been?" They might casually mention wanting to see the latest movie you'd both enjoy, or attending a concert you once talked about together. "We must dare to be great," said Theodore Roosevelt, and in this case, daring to think beyond the moment indicates they're mentally placing you back in their life. Your ex may ask for your advice on a trip or a career move, even if it doesn't directly involve you. Why? They want your input, possibly because they still value your perspective, or they're testing to see if you care enough to invest your thoughts. Seeking your counsel is a subtle way of rebuilding emotional intimacy. They're basically saying, "Your voice still matters to me." Though they won't always admit it, sometimes your ex will happen to be at the same events or social spots you frequent. This isn't a coincidence. It's a gentle push to create more moments with you. "Chance is perhaps the pseudonym of God," wrote Anatole France. But in this case, it's more intentional than random. Your ex wants to re-establish a sense of shared space and time. Another strong indicator is when they speak about personal goals, but still align them with what you used to dream about together, like moving to a certain city or exploring a hobby you both loved. By referencing these shared visions, they're quietly suggesting, "We can still make these happen together." It's their way of tying the future back to a relationship that once was. Maybe they mention your birthday months in advance, or recall how you once planned a holiday trip. If they're increasingly focused on future milestones that involve you, it's a clear sign their interest is deepening again. It's not just a trip down memory lane. They're mentally placing you in what lies ahead. When an ex starts weaving you into their future, however subtly, it means their mind isn't locked on the past or their own independence. They've gone from, "Let's just see how you're doing," to, "Would you still want to do this with me?" This planning is an emotional stepping stone toward rekindling what was lost. Because genuine interest in a shared future often opens the door for the kind of conversations that lead to a real reunion. Sign number 5. They show unexpected acts of kindness or support. They go out of their way to help you. When an ex suddenly offers assistance or support, be it helping you fix a car problem, volunteering to edit your resume, or simply lending a sympathetic ear, it's a strong indicator they're still emotionally invested. This is more than a friendly gesture. It demonstrates genuine care. You can't live a perfect day without doing something for someone who will never be able to repay you, said John Wooden. By stepping up for you, your ex reveals they haven't fully closed the door on what you once had. They surprise you with thoughtful gestures. Look for moments where they remember special dates, your favorite meal, or something you casually mentioned needing. These small surprises don't happen accidentally. They indicate your ex is thinking about you more deeply than they'd like to admit. Recalling intricate details of your life is their way of staying connected and reminding you that they still value you. They offer emotional support during tough times. If you're going through a challenge, health issues, job stress, or family problems, pay attention to your ex's reaction? Are they the first to reach out, asking if you're okay or needing someone to talk to? A friend in need is a friend indeed, the saying goes. And while you're no longer in a relationship, your ex is essentially auditioning for a new role in your life. This willingness to be your emotional anchor signals they care deeply about your well-being. They act protective of you. Exes who are truly done with the past rarely feel the urge to defend you, especially in front of friends or colleagues. But if your ex quickly stands up for you, disputes criticism aimed your way, or otherwise safeguards your reputation, they're operating from a place of attachment. The supreme happiness in life is the conviction that we are loved, wrote Victor Hugo, and their protective streak suggests they might still want to be the person who loves and protects you. They consistently check in. Unexpected kindness often shows up as periodic check-ins that feel sincere and considerate. They're not just asking out of politeness, they're asking because they genuinely care. If you're feeling down or you had a big day at work, they'll text or call to see how it went. This level of attentiveness goes beyond casual curiosity. It's part of a deeper emotional investment. Why it matters? These acts of kindness and support aren't just random goodwill. They signal an ongoing emotional pull toward you. Your ex is demonstrating that you still hold a unique place in their life, one they're not ready to give up. Genuine concern, heartfelt gestures, and unwavering support all point to one conclusion. They're slowly but surely edging back into your world, likely hoping you'll recognize the effort and open the door for a real connection again. Sign number 6. They invest more time and energy, even without a label. They initiate frequent contact, no longer content with the occasional text or a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" message. Your ex starts reaching out more often. They might ask about your day, check in on life updates, or even send random memes. As Greek philosopher Epictetus advised, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Their frequent nudges reveal they're still trying to figure out where they stand with you, and subtly adorn themselves in a way you'll approve of. They crave shared experiences, from spontaneous coffee runs to grabbing concert tickets at the last minute. They're now creating opportunities to spend quality time together, even if it's under the guise of just friends. The fact that they're carving out space in their schedule for you, sometimes sacrificing other plans, is a major sign they're willing to invest time before any official label is back in place. They open up about their personal life. When an ex starts divulging personal struggles, aspirations, or even day-to-day joys, it means they're comfortable showing their vulnerable side again. We are all so desperate to be understood. We forget to be understanding, says poet and philosopher Khalil Gibran. By sharing more of themselves, they're asking for your understanding and maybe hoping you'll respond with equally open arms. They pay close attention to your needs. Watch for gestures like bringing your favorite snack when they visit, or remembering small details you mentioned offhand. This focus on meeting or even predicting your needs shows they're not just passing time. They're invested in making you feel valued and understood. It's a soft attempt to rebuild what was lost, one thoughtful act at a time. They seek your involvement in their decisions. From career moves to weekend plans, your ex increasingly asks for your input, sometimes even prioritizing your opinions over their own. The reason? They want to show you that your perspective matters. "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves," wrote William Shakespeare. By involving you, they signal that they see a shared future in the decisions they make today. Why it matters. True commitment isn't just words, it's shown through consistent actions. The more time and energy they invest, without any explicit promise or label, the more evident it becomes that they see you as a priority. This kind of steady, purposeful involvement doesn't happen unless they're genuinely considering a deeper reconnection. If your ex is making room for you in their calendar, conversations and future plans, take note. They're quietly paving the way for a potential reunion. Sign number 7. They openly discuss reconciliation and show they've changed. They stop avoiding the past mistakes. A powerful sign that your ex is truly on the path back to you is when they finally stop tiptoeing around what went wrong. Instead, they acknowledge the mistakes, both yours and theirs, that led to the breakup. To err is human, to forgive divine, wrote Alexander Pope, and this moment of accountability is the first genuine step toward a fresh start. Instead of sidestepping painful memories, they own up to their role in the relationship's downfall. They express genuine willingness to work on themselves. This is when they don't just talk about the breakup, they talk about growth. Whether it's through therapy, self-help books, or adopting better habits, your ex begins to show tangible efforts at self-improvement. This goes beyond lip service. It's about actionable change. They recognize that if they want a second shot, they have to be different this time around, and they're showing you how. They ask for your perspective on the future. Another major clue is when they start asking how you envision a renewed relationship. Maybe they say, "What if we tried again, but did things differently?" Or, "What do you need from me if we were to get back together?" Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." Your ex looks to the past for lessons, but focuses on the future with you at the center. They seek closure on lingering issues. Hurt feelings, misunderstandings, and unresolved arguments often keep exes apart. If your ex is actively trying to clarify old conflicts, asking how they can make amends or explaining their perspective, they're not content with emotional loose ends. They're motivated to close these chapters the right way, which paves the path for a new beginning rooted in honesty and respect. They suggest specific steps for rebuilding trust. Trust isn't rebuilt overnight. It requires consistent effort. When your ex not only admits past breaches of trust, but also proposes concrete ways to rebuild it, like regular check-ins, open communication, or professional counseling, they're demonstrating a readiness for real change. As Abraham Lincoln said, commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. These concrete steps show their commitment to making things right. Why it matters. Anyone can claim to miss you or express regret. Genuine reconciliation, however, hinges on accountability, constructive dialogue, and a willingness to do better. When your ex openly discusses the future, takes responsibility for mistakes, and presents real plans for moving forward, they're handing you the clearest sign possible. They're serious about coming back and making it last. If your ex is displaying even a few of these signs, chances are they're already on the path back to you. The key is recognizing these subtle and sometimes not so subtle signals for what they are, the beginnings of a potential reunion. Remember, as the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Your breakup and healing journey have made you wiser and more resilient. Now, if you decide to open the door for them again, do it from a place of confidence, clarity, and self-respect. Before we wrap up, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel and comment below, saying, "I am worth every effort." This is your personal mantra, your declaration that if they come back, it's on terms that honor your worth and well-being. Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember, you deserve the kind of love that chooses you wholeheartedly. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. They reach out, and for a moment, your heart lights up. You think, they're back. But then you sense hesitation. They're not fully in, yet they're not gone either. This push and pull can drive you crazy, leaving you with countless questions. Why come back only to stand on the sidelines? Today, we're diving deep into why your ex returns but can't commit, and what it really means. The great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness." When your ex returns, it's rarely as simple as a neat, tidy decision. Their mind is wrestling with memories, guilt, pride, and the fear of making the same mistakes again. That's why their return is often laced with hesitation. They're torn between the comfort of the past and the uncertainty of the future. One crucial factor is that they miss the familiar. Habits are powerful. The routines and emotional bonds you two shared don't just vanish because of a breakup. Yet, as they come closer, the reality of old problems resurfaces. This internal conflict can make them act distant even after initiating contact. It's a dance between yearning and self-protection. Tony Robbins reminds us that change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Your ex is likely assessing whether coming back to you will be less painful than facing life alone. They hesitate because they're still weighing the consequences. Is going back worth risking heartbreak again? That internal debate can freeze them in place. Sometimes your ex's hesitation is about ego. Admitting they miss you might feel like surrendering pride or losing control. So they hover, waiting for more evidence that reaching out is safe. Their mind becomes a battlefield of thoughts like, what if I admit I'm wrong? And what if they reject me now? This silent anxiety can prevent them from fully re-entering your life. Then there's the fear of judgment, not just from you, but from friends, family, or even themselves. They wonder, have I changed enough? Will this just be a rerun of our old issues? This self-doubt keeps them from taking that last step into reconciliation. Our doubts are traitors, wrote Shakespeare, and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. But here's the twist. Your response can drastically influence their hesitation. If you're quick to drop everything for them, they may feel reassured yet complacent, keeping the power balance skewed. If you stand firm, embodying your growth, you challenge them to either step up authentically or step away. This is why recognizing your worth is crucial. Now, you might wonder, should I make it easy for them to return, or should I play it cool? The answer depends on the respect and growth both of you bring to the table. If their hesitation is rooted in genuine growth and reflection, honest communication could open a pathway forward. If it's just fear of being alone, you deserve more than half-hearted attempts. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal exactly how to recognize these hidden motives. You'll understand the mental tug-of-war they're experiencing and learn how to respond in a way that protects your heart without shutting down the possibility of real reconciliation. This knowledge can set you free from confusion and emotional turmoil. Now, before we dive deeper, let's make one thing clear. You have the power to guide this outcome. So if you're ready to regain control of your emotional life and learn the truth behind your ex's hesitation, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. I choose my own worth. That's your mantra, your declaration to the universe that you won't settle for half-baked love. Buckle up. This video will change the way you see your ex's return forever. Reason 1. They crave familiarity, yet fear repetition. When your ex returns but won't fully commit, one core reason is the comfort of familiarity clashing with the fear of reliving old patterns and problems. It's like standing at the entrance of a once cozy home, both inviting and haunted at the same time. They remember the warmth, the safety, the memories you two created. But along with those pleasant recollections come reminders of the unresolved conflicts that drove you apart. Familiarity is powerful. We all gravitate toward what we know, especially during uncertain times. Your ex is drawn to you because you represent a safe space. Someone who knows them intimately, who understands their quirks and flaws. This comfort is emotionally magnetic. It feels good to return to a place where they once found acceptance and love. However, comfort alone isn't enough to override lingering doubts. Mark Twain famously said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme." This quote captures the anxiety your ex faces. They recall the pain, the misunderstandings, and the reasons you initially drifted apart. The thought of going through those experiences again can be paralyzing. Even if they desire the closeness you once shared, fear acts like an invisible barrier, making them hesitate when it's time to fully invest in a renewed relationship. It's not just about missing you. It's about missing who they were with you and hoping to regain that feeling without revisiting the painful parts of the past. In their mind, there's a constant battle between the yearning for emotional security and the self-protection that warns, "Don't get hurt again." This push and pull often manifests as mixed signals, sporadic communication, or half-hearted attempts to reconnect. Re-entering a relationship isn't as simple as picking up where you left off. There's a psychological cost. Revisiting old traumas, facing unresolved issues, and taking responsibility for mistakes. Your ex might be weighing whether they have the emotional bandwidth to confront all of this. Sometimes they're simply unsure if the payoff, reuniting with you, justifies the discomfort of digging through the past. Your ex's hesitation can stem from a deep-seated desire to avoid making the same mistakes twice. Their return indicates they miss you and value what you shared. But hesitation signals they're still uncertain whether they can move forward in a healthier way this time around. Until they resolve that uncertainty through reflection, growth, or open dialogue, they'll remain locked in this half-in, half-out stance. Reason 2. They seek ego validation but dread emotional exposure. When your ex comes back but seems hesitant, another powerful reason could be the desire for ego validation mingled with a deep fear of emotional exposure. They're drawn to you because your acceptance once gave them confidence and reassurance. Yet the vulnerability required to genuinely reconnect can feel overwhelming, especially if their self-esteem took a hit during or after the breakup. Human beings often crave validation as a way to restore self-worth, and a former partner's approval is uniquely potent. Knowing you still care can temporarily soothe their insecurities, helping them feel less alone or less rejected by the world. At the same time, they worry that lowering their guard might lead to renewed heartbreak. They might initiate contact under the guise of harmless conversation, fishing for compliments or subtle indications that you still hold them in high regard. This approach lets them test the waters without fully admitting they need your emotional support. But once the conversation veers too close to genuine feelings or the possibility of reconciling, they may suddenly distance themselves again. It's like they want the comfort of being wanted without the risk of being vulnerable. Behind all this lies an underlying dread of repeating past wounds. If they felt hurt or judged before, opening up again can seem terrifying, even if they secretly crave your approval. So they linger in the shadows of your life, seeking snippets of validation while staying guarded enough to avoid real connection. It's a balancing act that often leaves you confused, as their behavior oscillates between warm engagement and cool detachment. This behavior is less about your worth and more about their internal battle with vulnerability. Until they learn to embrace openness and confront the fear of being hurt, their desire for your validation will remain entangled with self-protective instincts. Recognizing this motive can help you respond wisely by maintaining your own boundaries and deciding whether you're willing to wait for them to resolve their fear of emotional exposure. The third reason: they struggle with their evolving identity. When your ex comes back but remains indecisive, another driving force can be an identity crisis. They're not the same person they were during your relationship, yet they might not have fully embraced who they've become. Change and perhaps exciting and unnerving, especially when it involves how they see themselves in the context of a renewed partnership. Part of this conflict arises from the personal growth, or perceived growth, they experienced after the breakup. Maybe they've developed new interests, discovered different life goals, or altered their perspective on relationships. Now, they're torn. How do I reconcile the person I've become with who I was before? This uncertainty leads to a kind of emotional limbo where they want to reconnect but fear losing the progress they've made on their own. Brené Brown, known for her work on vulnerability, reminds us that vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. Your ex might see re-entering a relationship as a potential threat to the new identity they've crafted. They hesitate because they're unsure if stepping back into the relationship will mean reverting to old habits or undermining the personal growth they're proud of. In some cases, they may also worry that you'll reject the new them. Uncertainty about whether you'll appreciate or even recognize their changes can stir anxiety. If they sense any pressure to be who they were before, it amplifies the fear that their hard-earned growth will be dismissed or invalidated. Rather than risk that vulnerability, they hover, hoping to gauge your acceptance without putting themselves completely on the line. Until they reconcile these internal doubts, deciding whether a renewed relationship fits into their evolving sense of self, they'll remain stuck in this tentative position. Their return is genuine on one level, but a deeper part of them needs reassurance that the person they've become can coexist with what you once had together. This delicate balance between past and present often results in the half-hearted attempts at reconnection you're seeing. Reason 4. They fear external and self-judgment. Sometimes an ex returns cautiously, because they fear the judgments of friends, family, or even their own inner critic. After all, breakups don't happen in a vacuum. They're often accompanied by strong opinions from people who witness the relationship's highs and lows. Your ex may worry that rekindling things could draw criticism or concern from those who watched it end the first time. Internally, they're also grappling with a sense of pride. Admitting they might have made a mistake by leaving you or mishandling the relationship can be a tough pill to swallow. This creates a quiet struggle. What if I go back and everyone thinks I'm weak or confused? They might linger in a state of hesitation, taking small steps toward reconciliation without fully committing, in an attempt to gauge how much judgment they'll face. Social pressure aside, self-judgment can be even more powerful. They might question whether they're really ready to own up to their part in the breakup, or whether they've grown enough to avoid repeating past patterns. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The weak can never forgive." Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Your ex may be wrestling with forgiveness, both self-forgiveness and the hope that you'll forgive them. Until they come to terms with this internal reckoning, they'll remain in limbo, returning just enough to satisfy their curiosity or longing, yet hesitant to fully embrace the possibility of a new start. Their caution, then, is a protective measure aimed at minimizing embarrassment or disappointment. They want reassurance that reconnecting won't open them to a barrage of disapproval, from you or from the people around them. This emotional balancing act explains why you might feel like they're only half in. Part of them yearns for your presence, while the other part shrinks from the potential backlash that could come from giving the relationship another try. Reason 5. They're torn between autonomy and connection. When an ex returns but hesitates to fully re-engage, a key conflict often emerges from the tug-of-war between their cherished independence and their innate desire for emotional closeness. On one hand, they've grown accustomed to making decisions for themselves, enjoying a sense of freedom that wasn't always present during the relationship. On the other hand, they still miss the sense of belonging and deep connection that only you could provide. This struggle can be surprisingly intense. After the breakup, they may have discovered new interests, pursued personal goals, or simply relished not having to consider someone else's feelings at every turn. Yet, a longing persists. The warmth of being seen, understood and cared for. They return because they yearn for that closeness again, but the notion of surrendering any part of their newly embraced independence leaves them feeling uneasy. Jane Austen once wrote, "If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more." Your ex might find it easier to show up in small, cautious ways rather than openly declare they miss you. They fear that stepping back into a full-blown relationship could mean losing the personal growth they've achieved. In essence, they're afraid of returning to old habits or sacrifices that felt stifling before. Their actions can seem contradictory. One moment they cherish the emotional safety you offer, and the next they pull away in favor of solitude. This back and forth often springs from the need to safeguard the autonomy they fought so hard to build. They may even test your response, seeking reassurance that reconnecting with you won't mean relinquishing all they've gained. Resolving this inner tension requires a new relationship dynamic, one that honors each person's individuality while fostering genuine closeness. Your ex's hesitation signals a deeper need for balance. They're looking for the kind of connection that doesn't demand they give up who they've become, but instead supports mutual growth, a delicate dance between independence and togetherness. Reason 6. They are haunted by unresolved baggage. When your ex reaches out, it's not always a sign that all is well. Often, beneath the surface, unresolved issues and lingering pain from the past continue to haunt them. These emotional ghosts create a barrier that stops them from diving in wholeheartedly, even when their heart still yearns for what once was. Their return can be seen as a tentative step toward closure, a test to see if they can heal old wounds while trying to rekindle a connection. Yet each encounter forces them to confront memories of previous hurt and regret. This constant tug-of-war between what once was and what might be leaves them hesitant, caught in a limbo of nostalgia and unresolved sorrow. Winston Churchill once remarked, "Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it." In this case, the wind is the emotional turmoil they face. Their struggle isn't about rejecting the possibility of a new beginning. It's about wrestling with past pains that still exert a powerful pull on their present actions. The more they try to move forward, the more the old issues resurface, making every step feel like a risk. This emotional baggage often manifests as a guarded approach. Even when they show up, there's an unmistakable distance, a subtle reluctance to fully embrace the vulnerability needed to move past old scars. They might flirt with reconnection, only to pull back when deeper intimacy threatens to expose the unresolved hurt beneath the surface. Until they find a way to process and let go of these remnants of the past, their return will always be tentative. They're testing the waters, wondering if it's possible to merge the lessons of yesterday with the hope of tomorrow without reopening old wounds. Their hesitation is less about you and more about their inner battle with lingering pain. Reason 7. They are paralyzed by the pressure of expectations. When your ex hesitates after initial contact, one underlying reason can be the overwhelming pressure of expectations, both their own and those imposed by others. They find themselves caught between the desire to reconnect and the daunting prospect of living up to a newly defined standard of what the relationship should be. Returning isn't just about reigniting old flames. It forces them to confront the opinions of friends, family, and even their inner critic. They may worry that coming back will be seen as a step backward or as an admission of failure, adding a heavy layer of external judgment to an already complicated decision. As Confucius once said, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." Despite this wisdom, the fear of not measuring up to the idealized version of what the relationship once was, or could be again, can be paralyzing. They dread the possibility of disappointing not only you but also themselves, who have grown accustomed to the promise of a better, evolved future. This inner turmoil intensifies when they consider the changes in both of you during the time apart. The person you are today might seem different, stronger, or more independent. The weight of these expectations can make them question if they are truly enough for the new dynamic, causing hesitation at every step of reconnection. The pressure to live up to a perfect image, combined with the fear of repeating past mistakes, creates a stalemate. Their mind becomes a battleground where the hope of reuniting clashes with the anxiety of falling short. Every action they take is tempered by the worry that they might not meet the renewed standards of the relationship you now embody. This paralyzing pressure leaves them suspended in uncertainty. It's not that they don't want you, they do, but the fear of not living up to the expectations is too intense. Until they can reconcile their self-image with the reality of who you've both become, their hesitance will persist, leaving you with mixed signals and lingering questions. As we wrap up, remember that every hesitation from your ex holds a story, a blend of nostalgia, fear, and inner conflict. Understanding these mixed signals gives you the power to recognize your own value and protect your emotional well-being. We've uncovered how familiarity, self-judgment, evolving identity, and other deep-rooted reasons all play a part in why they come back with hesitation. This isn't just about their indecision, it's about your worth and the balance you deserve in any relationship. Think of it this way. Their uncertainty is a mirror reflecting their own unresolved struggles, not a measure of your value. As Oscar Wilde wisely noted, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Embrace that truth and let it guide you through these challenging moments. If you found these insights valuable, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more empowering content. Your journey to understanding and reclaiming your power is just beginning, and every step forward is a victory. Before you go, type in the comments, "I choose my power." Let that be your mantra, a bold declaration that you will never settle for less than you deserve. Thank you for watching, and stay empowered until they're watching. Oh yes, they're watching. You might not see their name pop up in your messages or calls, but their presence lingers in the shadows of your social media, hidden behind every viewed story, every random like, every indirect mention. The crazy part: they won't reach out, and you're left wondering why. Let me tell you something powerful. What you seek is seeking you, said the great poet Rumi. And make no mistake, your ex is seeking you. Not openly, not bravely, but secretly, with curiosity wrapped in hesitation. They're trapped in a psychological game where pride and fear battle against longing and regret. They want to reach out, but something holds them back. But why do they choose to watch instead of communicate? The answer is simpler and more scientific than you think. According to studies on attachment theory, avoidant individuals often suppress their emotions and distance themselves rather than face vulnerability. They believe staying silent keeps them safe from rejection or emotional discomfort. But even while they keep their distance, they can't help but monitor you from afar. Here's the kicker. They're waiting for a sign. A signal that says it's safe to return, that you won't reject them, or worse, that you haven't moved on. This aligns perfectly with the findings of psychologist John Bowlby, who highlighted that individuals with avoidant attachment styles tend to avoid emotional closeness, but maintain an underlying longing for connection. The avoidance isn't about not caring, it's about protecting their fragile ego. And here's where most people make a mistake. They chase, they reach out, they hand over all their power, confirming exactly what their ex expected, that they'd always be waiting. It's exactly what Albert Einstein warned against. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Reaching out to someone who's watching but not engaging only reinforces their decision to stay away. But when you don't react, when you keep moving forward and continue to glow up in their absence, something shifts. They begin to question everything. Because here's the truth. People don't value what they don't fear losing. And when they realize you are truly moving on, that's when their curiosity turns into panic. At this point, their mind becomes a battlefield. They start to analyze every little thing you post, every smile, every achievement. They try to decode the message hidden between your moments of happiness. They wonder who's making you smile now, why you seem stronger, why their absence doesn't break you. They start to feel the sting of regret and the weight of missed opportunities. But their silence continues. Because as much as they want to reach out, the fear of rejection now outweighs the comfort of staying hidden. It's their ego battling their longing, their pride wrestling their desire. And unless something drastically shifts, they will continue to watch from a distance, hoping for a sign that it's safe to make their move. So what do you do about this? You do nothing. You don't chase. You don't explain. You don't try to win them back. You live your life in such a way that they are forced to confront their own mistakes. As Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Now, if you're ready to take back your power, if you're ready to make them truly feel your absence, then like this video, subscribe, and comment below, "I am moving forward." Because the truth is, the moment you stop caring about their attention, that's when they crave yours the most. Stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening in their mind, why they can't stop watching you, and what you need to do to finally turn the tables. Let's dive in. Stay focused. Reason 1. Fear of rejection and vulnerability. Your ex is watching you, but they're not reaching out because of a powerful universal force, the fear of rejection and vulnerability. It's a psychological barrier so common, it affects even the most confident people. And if your ex has an avoidant attachment style, this fear is amplified tenfold. According to attachment theory, avoidant individuals are particularly skilled at distancing themselves emotionally. They suppress their feelings to avoid the pain of rejection. It's not that they don't care, it's that caring means risking vulnerability, and vulnerability means risking hurt. As psychologist John Bowlby emphasized, avoidants often appear detached, but beneath the surface, they are just as emotionally invested as anyone else. The difference is, they try to protect themselves by maintaining distance. Think about it. They're watching you because they still care. They still want to know what you're doing, who you're with, and if you've moved on. But reaching out, that would require them to lower their emotional shield and face the possibility that you've moved on, that you're doing fine without them, or even worse, that you've replaced them. As Brené Brown, the researcher who's dedicated her life to studying vulnerability, said, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity." But for your ex, vulnerability is also the birthplace of rejection. And that's terrifying. Instead of admitting regret or revealing their emotions, they choose the safer option, watching you from a distance. They might keep tabs on you through social media, mutual friends, or even harmless-seeming messages just to make sure you're still within their emotional reach. But here's the truth. They're not just watching, they're waiting. They're waiting for you to make the first move. Because if you do, it makes them feel safe. It confirms that you haven't completely moved on, that their absence still matters. And as long as they feel that comfort, they'll continue hiding behind the safety of distance. The real question is, will you let them stay in control, or will you reclaim your power by doing nothing? Because when you stop reacting, when you embrace your own growth, that's when their fear of rejection becomes their biggest regret. Reason 2. Ego and pride. Blocking their move. Even if your ex feels the sting of regret and longs to reconnect, their own ego and pride often stand in the way. This psychological barrier is incredibly powerful, and it prevents them from reaching out even when they genuinely want to. It's like a wall they've built to protect themselves. But ironically, it's also the very thing keeping them from what they desire. Why? because admitting they miss you would require them to swallow their pride and accept responsibility for their actions. As Sigmund Freud said, unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Instead of confronting their feelings, they suppress them. Instead of apologizing or admitting fault, they convince themselves they're fine without you. Pride whispers lies into their ear. Reaching out would make me look desperate. If I contact them first, I'm admitting defeat. They should be the one chasing me, not the other way around. This ego-driven mindset keeps them stuck in a loop of silence and self-deception. They convince themselves they don't care, all while constantly checking your social media, asking mutual friends about you, and imagining scenarios where you make the first move. It's a cycle of pride, longing, and frustration. A vicious cycle that keeps them paralyzed. According to studies on cognitive dissonance, the psychological discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs drives people to act irrationally. In your ex's case, their desire to reach out clashes with their ego's desire to avoid vulnerability. To resolve this dissonance, they choose to stay silent rather than face the uncomfortable truth. They miss you, but their pride won't let them admit it. Even when the urge to reach out becomes overwhelming, they'll find ways to justify staying silent. Maybe they tell themselves you've already moved on, or that you'd never take them back, or worse, that they're somehow better off without you. It's all just their ego creating a barrier against rejection. But here's the reality. Pride is the enemy of progress. As long as they allow their ego to control their actions, they'll remain stuck in the same emotional purgatory, watching you from afar while refusing to take genuine action. And the sad truth is, the longer they wait, the harder it becomes for them to break their own silence. Reason. 3. They're waiting for you to reach out first. Your ex may be watching you because they're caught in a mental trap of waiting for you to make the first move. This is one of the most common reasons why someone who's still emotionally attached won't reach out directly. They prefer to stay in their comfort zone, hoping you'll be the one to break the silence. Why do they do this? Because making the first move requires them to face rejection head-on. And let's be real, most people would rather avoid that possibility altogether. As Wayne Dyer once said, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you're alone with. But your ex isn't truly comfortable being alone. They're just too afraid to confront their own emotions. This fear-driven hesitation is reinforced by their own ego. They might tell themselves, if they really cared, they'd reach out to me. It's a coping mechanism, a way to protect their pride while keeping their emotional distance. Instead of confronting their feelings, they convince themselves that if you truly wanted them, you'd be the one to break the ice. There's also something called reciprocity anxiety, a psychological concept suggesting that people often hold back from making the first move because they fear their effort won't be reciprocated. Your ex might be afraid of putting their emotions out there and being met with cold indifference or worse, outright rejection. So instead, they do the next best thing. Watch you from afar, hoping you'll give them a clear signal. This waiting game often turns into a passive-aggressive power struggle. They want you to come running back, but at the same time, they can't help but monitor your life, looking for signs that you still care. It's a twisted form of validation seeking, fueled by their own insecurity and emotional uncertainty. But here's the irony. The longer they wait for you to reach out, the more they drive themselves crazy. their curiosity and doubt only grow stronger with time. Every new post you make, every smile you share, every achievement you showcase, it all becomes a haunting reminder that you are doing just fine without them. And that realization, it slowly chips away at their resolve to stay silent. Reason 4. They're trying to regain control. Another powerful reason why your ex is watching you but not reaching out is because they're trying to regain control of the situation, or at least the illusion of control. When someone walks away from a relationship, especially if they initiated the breakup, they often believe they hold the power. They tell themselves they've made the right choice, that they're in control of their emotions, their life, and even you. But the moment they notice you moving on, something changes. They feel that control slipping away. Watching you from a distance becomes their way of keeping a psychological grip on you. It's like a silent attempt to monitor and manipulate the situation without having to face the discomfort of reaching out directly. As Robert Greene wrote in The 48 Laws of Power, the best way to protect yourself is to be as fluid and formless as water. Never bet on stability or lasting order. Everything changes. Your ex is terrified of change. They want things to remain in their control, even if that control is nothing more than an illusion. By watching you, they believe they're still influencing your emotions. They want to see if you're still hurt, still longing for them, still waiting around. This reassurance helps them feel superior, like they haven't completely lost the upper hand. And yet, they're scared to reach out because doing so would shatter their own illusion of power. Psychological studies on attachment and power dynamics show that individuals who feel they've lost control over a situation often resort to surveillance as a coping mechanism. This is precisely what your ex is doing, trying to maintain their perceived influence by simply observing your life from a distance. But here's the thing. The more you focus on your growth and independence, the less power they actually have over you. And they can feel it. They sense the shift. They realize their tactics aren't working the way they hoped. This realization leaves them feeling even more lost and confused, torn between wanting to reach out and clinging to the illusion of control. Reason 5. They're trying to protect their ego. One of the biggest reasons why your ex is watching you but not reaching out is ego protection. They're guarding their pride like it's their most precious possession, and to them reaching out first feels like losing. It's the ultimate admission of defeat, of vulnerability, of longing for something they once discarded. You see, reaching out means admitting they were wrong. It means acknowledging that their decision to walk away may have been a mistake. And for many people, especially those with high egos or avoidant attachment styles, this level of vulnerability is simply too terrifying to confront. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who fights with monsters should be careful, lest he thereby become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you." Your ex is stuck staring into their own abyss, an ego-driven void where their need for validation clashes with their fear of rejection. But here's the twist. Their ego is actually causing them pain. By refusing to reach out, they're feeding their own loneliness and regret. They're creating a prison of silence, hoping you'll be the one to set them free. But while they wait, their anxiety grows. They become obsessed with what you're doing, who you're with, and why you haven't reached out to them. Studies on self-serving bias show that people often distort reality to protect their ego. They convince themselves that you'll reach out eventually, that you're just playing games, that you still care. And this delusion gives them temporary relief from their own insecurity. But the truth remains, their ego is their own worst enemy. The paradox is clear. The more they try to protect their pride, the more they suffer. By refusing to take responsibility, they end up in a cycle of observation and self-torment. They're not just watching you out of curiosity. They're watching you because their ego won't let them do anything else. Reason 6. They're waiting for the perfect moment. Your ex may be watching you but not reaching out because they're waiting for the perfect moment to reappear. It's a psychological delay tactic rooted in their own insecurity and desire for control. They believe that if they can find just the right time, the right excuse, or the right words, their return will be seamless, effortless, and welcomed. This is what psychologists call strategic delay. Instead of acting now, they convince themselves that waiting will somehow make everything easier. It's a form of procrastination built on fear. As Carl Jung famously stated, "What you resist persists." The more they avoid facing their feelings, the more powerful those feelings become. Why are they waiting? Because deep down, they're terrified of rejection. They think that if they just wait until the right moment, they can avoid humiliation, pain, or embarrassment. Maybe they're waiting for you to show signs of missing them. Maybe they're waiting until they feel stronger, more confident, or more worthy of your attention. But here's the problem. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Their hesitation only leads to more overthinking and more emotional turmoil. They scrutinize every detail of your life from the shadows, looking for clues that you might still care. But their hesitation only digs them deeper into the trap of inaction. And the longer they wait, the more intimidating the idea of reaching out becomes. They fear that too much time has passed, that you've moved on completely, or that your response will be cold and indifferent. As Lao Tzu once said, "He who hesitates is lost." And by hesitating, they are allowing their own insecurities to consume them. Ironically, their fear of messing up makes them mess up even more. Because by waiting for the perfect moment, they're letting valuable time slip by, making their return feel even more impossible. And all the while they continue to watch you, hoping for a sign that will make their decision easier. Reason 7. They're afraid you've moved on. The final, and perhaps most powerful, reason why your ex is watching you but not reaching out is simple. They're terrified you've moved on. The thought of you finding happiness with someone else, living your best life without them, is a reality they desperately want to avoid. But here's the catch. The fear of you moving on is often stronger than their desire to reconnect. You see, it's not just about rejection anymore. It's about irrelevance. It's about the possibility that their place in your life has been completely erased, replaced by someone who treats you better, values you more, and loves you deeper. This fear is rooted in their own insecurities and their unwillingness to face the consequences of their actions. As Viktor Frankl, the renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wisely said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. But instead of making changes, your ex tries to avoid the pain by watching you from the shadows. They keep tabs on your life to reassure themselves that their worst fear hasn't become a reality." Studies on social comparison theory show that people often evaluate their own worth based on how they perceive others. When your ex sees you thriving, posting pictures of your achievements, smiling with friends, or just enjoying life. It triggers a mix of jealousy, regret, and anxiety. They begin to question everything. Have they really moved on? Did I lose them for good? Are they happier without me? And the more they see you moving forward, the more paralyzed they become. Their fear of rejection, combined with their fear of you finding someone better, leaves them stuck in a state of emotional paralysis. They convince themselves that staying silent and watching from afar is better than risking the confirmation that you're no longer interested. But here's the truth. By refusing to reach out, they're only making their own suffering worse. Their obsession with you moving on becomes their own worst nightmare. They try to convince themselves that you'll eventually reach out, that you'll give them some sign that all hope isn't lost. But in reality, their refusal to act only drives you further away. Now you know exactly why your ex is watching you but won't reach out. It's a cocktail of fear, ego, insecurity, and emotional paralysis. They're trapped in their own mental maze, desperately wanting to reconnect, but too afraid to make the first move. They're waiting for the perfect moment, hoping you'll reach out first, or praying you'll give them some signal that it's safe to return. But here's the truth. Your power lies in doing nothing, by refusing to chase them. By choosing to focus on your own growth and happiness, you force them to face their own regrets, their own fears, and their own emotional weaknesses. And the more you glow up, the harder it becomes for them to deny the truth. They made a mistake. Albert Einstein once said, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." If you keep waiting for them to change without doing anything different yourself, you'll remain stuck in the same cycle of pain and confusion. So what should you do? Absolutely nothing. Continue living your life, healing, growing, and building the future you deserve. Because the moment you stop giving them your attention, the moment you stop caring whether they reach out or not, that's when they feel your absence the most. Now, it's your turn to take control. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. I choose myself. Let this be your mantra, a reminder that your worth isn't defined by whether they reach out or not. Your journey to healing and empowerment starts now. And remember, when you choose yourself, you win every time. Stay strong, stay powerful, and I'll see you in the next video. It's time to break free. Because right now, whether you realize it or not, your mind is trapped. You're replaying memories like old tapes, clinging to someone who's already walked away. But what if I told you there's a way to cut those emotional chains for good? You see, emotional detachment isn't about shutting off your feelings or pretending you don't care. It's about reclaiming your power. As Buddha wisely said, you only lose what you cling to. And right now you're clinging to a past that no longer serves you. Today, we're going to shatter that cycle once and for all. Scientists have discovered that the pain of heartbreak activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. It's real, it's powerful, and it can feel all-consuming. But here's the good news. Just like a muscle can be trained to grow stronger, your mind can be trained to let go. Have you ever wondered why it feels impossible to move on? Why your thoughts always circle back to them, no matter how much you try to forget? It's because you haven't been given the tools to truly detach. But that changes right now. As the legendary Bruce Lee once said, "It's not the daily increase, but daily decrease." Hack away at the unessential. And that's exactly what emotional detachment is. removing everything that's weighing you down, piece by piece, until all that remains is your own strength. Stick with me until the end of this video, and I'll guide you through proven step-by-step techniques to sever the emotional hold your ex has over you. You're not just going to get over it, you're going to reclaim your peace of mind entirely. Imagine waking up one day and realizing their name doesn't hold power over you anymore. Imagine feeling a calmness wash over you every time their memory tries to intrude. That freedom isn't a fantasy. It's a choice. And it starts here. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to detach emotionally, but you'll also feel empowered to rebuild your life from the ground up. Because real strength isn't about holding on, it's about knowing when to let go. But here's the thing, only you can make that choice. Only you can decide to take your power back. And I'm here to show you exactly how to do it. So, if you're ready to finally break free, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. I choose peace. Let's do this together. Stay focused. Step 1. Accept the reality. The first step to emotionally detaching from your ex is to accept reality exactly as it is, without excuses, without hope of things magically changing, and without clinging to the fantasy of what could have been. This concept, known as radical acceptance, is a powerful tool often used in dialectical behavior therapy to help people move beyond emotional pain and into healing. As the famous philosopher Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. It's not the breakup itself that keeps you stuck, but rather your refusal to accept that it's truly over. Holding on to false hope, replaying old conversations, or fantasizing about what you could have done differently will only prolong your suffering. Why radical acceptance works. Studies have shown that when we fully acknowledge painful experiences without resistance, our brain begins to process the pain in a more rational way, reducing emotional distress. The pain doesn't disappear instantly, but it becomes more manageable, and your mind can begin the process of healing. How to practice radical acceptance. Acknowledge the pain without judgment. Admit to yourself that the relationship is over. It's okay to feel hurt, sad, or angry. Allow those emotions to exist without trying to suppress or control them. Stop fighting reality. Recognize that trying to change the past is futile. Letting go of what if and if only thoughts is essential. Write it down. Journaling can be incredibly powerful. Write out the truth of your situation, even if it hurts. For example, this relationship is over. It's okay for me to feel pain, but it's time to move forward. Practice mindfulness. Ground yourself in the present moment. When thoughts about your ex surface, acknowledge them, but don't let them control you. Instead, bring your focus back to your breath or your surroundings. As psychiatrist Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Trying to force yourself to feel nothing will only amplify the pain. Instead, choose to accept the pain and let it be. Ironically, by fully embracing the truth of your situation, you begin to loosen its hold over you. Radical acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about freeing yourself from the mental chains of denial. Only when you accept that the relationship is truly over can you begin the journey to genuine emotional detachment. Step 2. Cut off contact, also known as the no contact rule. Now that you've accepted reality through radical acceptance, it's time to create the emotional space you need to truly heal. This is where the no contact rule comes in. A proven, science-backed method that allows your brain to begin rewiring itself away from the emotional attachment to your ex. As Warren Buffett wisely said, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. If you keep engaging with your ex, whether it's through text messages, social media stalking, or even just reminiscing, you're reinforcing those emotional chains. The only way to break free is to cut off all contact. Why the no contact rule works. Studies in neuroscience reveal that heartbreak activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. Each time you reach out to your ex or engage with them in any way, it's like picking at a wound that's trying to heal. Cutting off contact allows your brain to gradually disassociate from the emotional triggers linked to them, rewiring itself for recovery. How to implement the no contact rule. Delete their number and social media. This is non-negotiable. If you can't resist checking their updates or rereading old messages, it's time to remove those triggers from your life. No texts, calls, or accidental encounters. Even casual conversations can reopen emotional wounds. Resist the urge to check in or respond to their attempts to reach out. Avoid mutual friends temporarily. Hanging around people who constantly bring up your ex is like pouring salt into an open wound. Politely distance yourself if needed. Replace their presence with new habits. Break the patterns that remind you of them. If you always went to a particular cafe together, try a new one. Create new routines that belong solely to you. Journal your progress. Track your feelings daily. This will help you notice the subtle yet powerful improvements happening over time. As Tony Robbins famously said, "Where focus goes, energy flows." If you're still focusing on your ex, all of your emotional energy remains tied to them. But if you redirect that focus toward healing and personal growth, you'll see your power return. Cutting off contact may feel brutal at first, but it's an essential part of your emotional recovery. Without this separation, your mind remains trapped in a cycle of dependency, longing, and false hope. By enforcing the no contact rule, you're finally giving yourself permission to heal and move forward. Step 3. Rebuild your identity, or rediscover yourself. Now that you've implemented the no contact rule, it's time to focus on something incredibly powerful: rebuilding your identity. After a breakup, it's common to feel lost, as if a part of you has been taken away. That's because, during the relationship, you merged pieces of your identity with your ex. Now, the journey is about reclaiming what's yours and redefining who you are. As Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Studies in psychology reveal that self-concept clarity, your understanding of who you are, is a key factor in emotional resilience. After a breakup, this clarity is often shattered, leaving you feeling disoriented and emotionally unstable. Rebuilding your identity helps you re-establish your emotional foundation, making you stronger and more independent. Reconnect with your passions. Revisit hobbies and interests that may have been neglected during your relationship. Whether it's art, music, writing, fitness, or something else, allow yourself to dive deeply into the activities that bring you joy. Set new goals. Write down personal, career, and lifestyle goals you want to achieve. Break them into small, actionable steps and celebrate your progress along the way. Create a new routine. Structure is essential. By building a routine that doesn't involve your ex, you reinforce your sense of independence and self-sufficiency. Surround yourself with positive influences. Spend time with supportive friends, family or mentors who encourage your growth and empower you to become your best self. Self-reflection and journaling. Keep a journal where you track your emotional journey, celebrate your wins, and identify areas where you want to improve. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." And in this case, your world was partially defined by your ex. Now it's time to create a new world built entirely by you and for you. Through this process, you'll discover that you are so much more than the person who was left behind. You are a complete individual with dreams, passions, and the power to create a life of fulfillment, without anyone's permission or validation. Step 4. Reframe your thoughts, also known as cognitive restructuring. Now that you're actively rebuilding your identity, it's time to address something even more powerful: your thoughts. You see, the way you think about your breakup is just as important as the breakup itself. If you keep replaying painful memories and believing harmful narratives, you'll remain emotionally trapped. The key is to reframe your thoughts, a psychological process known as cognitive restructuring. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless wisdom is now backed by modern science. Research in cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, shows that by consciously reshaping your thoughts, you can change your emotional response to painful events. The problem most people face after a breakup is that they become mentally stuck in negative loops. Thoughts like, "I wasn't good enough," "I'll never find love again," or "they were my only chance at happiness," become deeply ingrained beliefs. These thoughts are not only untrue, but also incredibly damaging to your self-esteem. And the worst part? They feel real because you keep feeding them. So, how do you break this destructive cycle? By challenging your thoughts and replacing them with empowering truths. Start by identifying your most common negative thoughts. Write them down, no matter how irrational or harsh they sound. Then, counter each thought with evidence-based truth. For example, instead of thinking "I wasn't good enough," replace it with "I am worthy of love and respect. My value is not determined by someone else's inability to see it." Instead of "I'll never find love again," remind yourself, "The world is full of amazing people. Every ending is a new beginning." Instead of "They were my only chance at happiness," reframe it as "Happiness comes from within, not from another person. I am fully capable of creating a joyful life." By consistently reframing your thoughts, you are retraining your brain to break free from negative patterns. It's not about lying to yourself or pretending you're okay. It's about building mental resilience and reprogramming your mind to accept a more positive, realistic outlook. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. In time, you'll notice that your negative thoughts have less power over you. They'll show up less frequently, and when they do, you'll be able to dismiss them with confidence and clarity. This is how you reclaim your mental freedom. Step 5. Channel your emotions. Now that you've begun reframing your thoughts, it's crucial to address something just as powerful: your emotions. While changing your thought patterns is essential, your emotional pain needs a healthy outlet. Suppressing your emotions will only prolong your healing process, trapping you in a cycle of unresolved hurt. The key is to channel and release your emotions constructively. As Leonardo da Vinci said, "Tears come from the heart and not from the brain." Your emotions are valid, real, and deserve acknowledgement. Trying to bury them or pretend they don't exist will only make them stronger. Instead, you need to face them head-on and let them flow. Why emotional release matters. Research in psychology confirms that emotional expression is a critical part of healing. Bottling up emotions can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical illness. Studies have shown that writing about your feelings, especially about traumatic or distressing experiences, can significantly reduce emotional distress and improve overall well-being. How to channel your emotions effectively. Journaling. Write about your pain, anger, sadness, and even your moments of joy. Be brutally honest. Pour your emotions onto the page without judgment. Let it be messy, raw, and unfiltered. This simple act helps release pent-up emotions and gives clarity to your thoughts. Creative expression. Art, music, dance, writing, or any other form of creativity can be an incredibly therapeutic outlet. The process of turning pain into something beautiful or meaningful can be a powerful form of healing. Physical activity. Exercise releases endorphins, your body's natural mood boosters. Whether it's running, yoga, weightlifting, or even hiking, moving your body helps release built-up stress and negativity. Talking to someone you trust. Whether it's a friend, family member, or therapist, expressing your emotions verbally can be immensely relieving. The goal here is not to eliminate pain, but to transform it. As Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Your pain can either be a source of suffering or a source of growth. It all depends on how you choose to process it. By channeling your emotions constructively, you free yourself from the burden of unresolved pain. It's no longer controlling you. You are releasing it and reclaiming your power. Step 6. Focus on personal growth. Now that you've learned to channel your emotions effectively, it's time to redirect your energy towards something truly transformative. Personal growth. Instead of wasting your mental and emotional energy on someone who's no longer in your life, you're going to invest it into becoming the best version of yourself. As Jim Rohn wisely said, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. This step is all about embracing that change and turning your heartbreak into a powerful catalyst for growth. Studies in positive psychology highlight that personal growth and goal setting are critical for enhancing well-being and emotional resilience. When you actively pursue new goals, skills, and experiences, your brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical, making you feel more fulfilled and motivated. Set clear goals. Decide what areas of your life you want to improve, whether it's your career, health, social life, finances, or personal skills. Set concrete, achievable goals. Break them down into small, actionable steps to keep yourself motivated. Develop new skills. Learning something new not only builds confidence but also rewires your brain to focus on progress instead of pain. Take a course, start a new hobby, or read books that challenge and inspire you. Create healthy routines. Structure your day with positive habits. Morning routines, exercise, meditation, journaling, or anything that nurtures your mind and body. Consistency is key. Expand your social circle. Meet new people, build friendships, and engage in activities that bring joy. Surrounding yourself with positive influences helps you realize that there's life beyond your past relationship. Reflect and adjust. Regularly evaluate your progress. As Nelson Mandela once said, there is no passion to be found in playing small. in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. This step is about unlocking your potential and embracing the journey of self-discovery. The beauty of focusing on personal growth is that it shifts your attention away from your ex and redirects it toward building something meaningful, your own happiness. When you immerse yourself in self-improvement, you slowly realize that you don't need anyone else to complete you. Your journey is your own. Step 7. Forgive and release. Now that you've invested time and energy into your personal growth, there's one final, powerful step to complete your healing. Forgiveness and release. This step isn't about excusing their behavior or pretending the pain never happened. It's about setting yourself free from the emotional baggage that continues to weigh you down. As Nelson Mandela once said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Holding on to bitterness only harms you, not them. True healing requires forgiveness, not for their sake, but for yours. Why forgiveness matters. Research in psychology has shown that forgiveness is directly linked to emotional and physical well-being. Studies have found that those who practice forgiveness experience lower levels of stress, reduced symptoms of depression, and even improved cardiovascular health. The act of forgiving allows your mind to release resentment and make room for peace. How to forgive and release. Acknowledge the hurt. Be honest with yourself about how deeply you were hurt. Write it down, voice it. Accept that those emotions are real, but they don't have to control you. Empathize and understand. This doesn't mean justifying their actions, but rather understanding that hurt people often hurt others. Recognizing their flaws and limitations can help you gain perspective. Release the need for closure. Understand that closure isn't something they can give you. It's something you create for yourself by choosing to let go of the emotional attachment. Create a ritual of release. Sometimes symbolic acts can be incredibly healing. Write them a letter pouring out all your emotions. Then burn or tear it up as a gesture of letting go. Practice self-compassion. Forgive yourself too, for the mistakes you made, for not walking away sooner, for holding on too tightly. As Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. By letting go of resentment, you're not just freeing yourself from pain. You're making space for new growth, new love, and a brighter future. Forgiveness doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, but every time you release a piece of anger, you reclaim a piece of your peace. And that's where true emotional detachment lies, in freeing yourself from the emotional chains that have held you captive. Your journey to healing is not just about forgetting them. It's about remembering who you are without them. You've done the work, you've rebuilt yourself, and now you're ready to fully move on. Step 8. Create new memories. Replace, don't erase. Now that you've forgiven and released the emotional weight of the past, it's time to replace the old with something fresh, exciting, and uniquely yours. You see, true healing doesn't come from simply trying to forget. It comes from creating new, empowering memories that gradually overshadow the pain. As Paulo Coelho once said, if you are brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. And it's time to start opening yourself up to those new hellos. How to create new memories. Travel and explore. Visit places you've never been before. New environments trigger the brain's reward system, helping you form positive experiences that aren't associated with your ex. Try new hobbies. Whether it's learning an instrument, taking up painting, dancing, or even martial arts, the act of learning something new stimulates your mind and fills the void left by your previous relationship. Build new relationships. Make friends. Expand your social circle. And connect with people who bring joy and positivity into your life. Celebrate small wins. Every achievement, no matter how small, is a step forward. Acknowledge and reward yourself for your progress. Embrace new goals. Start working on something you've always wanted to achieve. New ambitions bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Creating new memories isn't about erasing the past. It's about replacing its significance with something better. And the more you focus on building a life that genuinely excites you, the less control your past will have over you. Step 9. Practice gratitude and positivity. Shift your mindset. Once you start building new memories, it's essential to cultivate a mindset of gratitude and positivity. It sounds simple, but the impact is profound. When you shift your focus from what you've lost to what you're grateful for, your entire perspective changes. As Oprah Winfrey said, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." How to practice gratitude. Daily. Gratitude journal. Every morning or night, write down at least 3 things you're grateful for. It can be anything: your health, your progress, supportive friends, or even the simple joy of a peaceful moment. Positive affirmations. Speak words of encouragement to yourself daily. Replace negative thoughts with empowering statements like, "I am worthy of love and happiness." Surround yourself with positivity. Whether it's uplifting books, motivational podcasts, or inspiring people, fill your mind with positive influences. Celebrate your growth. Recognize how far you've come since the breakup. Celebrate the resilience you've shown and the person you're becoming. The more you practice gratitude, the less space your mind has for bitterness and pain. And when your focus shifts to positivity, your emotional resilience strengthens. Step 10. Visualize your future, manifestation, and growth. With gratitude guiding your mindset, it's time to actively visualize the future you want, not with your ex in mind, but with the version of yourself that's empowered, fulfilled, and thriving. This step is about shaping your reality by first shaping your vision. As Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This principle of manifestation has been backed by modern psychology, proving that what you focus on consistently becomes your reality. How to visualize your future. Create a vision board. Fill it with images, words, and goals that represent the life you want to build. Meditate on your goals. Close your eyes and visualize yourself living the life you desire. Happy, confident, and completely free of your ex's influence. Use affirmations with intention. Statements like, "I am attracting peace, joy, and growth into my life." Help reprogram your subconscious mind toward positive outcomes. Set clear, achievable goals. Break down your vision into actionable steps. Make progress daily, no matter how small. The act of visualization empowers you to become proactive in your healing. It shifts your mindset from "I am broken" to "I am building." Step 11. Embrace acceptance. Finding inner peace. You've come so far on your journey. Now it's time to fully embrace acceptance. not just of the breakup, but of everything that happened along the way. Acceptance is about making peace with the past and allowing yourself to move forward without looking back. As the philosopher Alan Watts said, acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. And once you truly accept what happened, you free yourself from the chains of resentment and longing. How to embrace acceptance? Stop blaming yourself. Understand that relationships end for many reasons, and not all of them are within your control. Release the guilt. Detach from outcomes. Let go of the need for things to turn out a certain way. Life has a way of bringing you exactly what you need when you're ready. Practice mindfulness. Stay present. When your mind drifts to the past, gently bring it back to the present moment. Let go of resentment. Forgive them. Forgive yourself and forgive the situation. Acceptance means freeing yourself from the burden of unresolved emotions. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about making room for something better. It's about moving forward with peace rather than pain. Step 12. Rediscover joy, living your best life. Now we come to the most beautiful part of your healing journey, rediscovering joy. After all the pain, all the struggle and all the growth, you deserve to experience genuine happiness once again. As Helen Keller said, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. You are living proof of that truth. How to rediscover joy. Pursue what excites you. Follow your passions without apology, whether it's creative projects, travel, personal goals, or simply enjoying life's simple pleasures. Stay open to new experiences. Allow yourself to explore life without limitations. Meet new people, try new activities, and expand your horizons. Nurture your well-being. Take care of your physical, mental, and emotional health. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Live authentically. Be true to yourself. Let go of the need to prove anything to anyone. Your happiness is yours to create and protect. Celebrate your freedom. Remind yourself how far you've come. You are no longer chained to the past. You are free. Your journey to emotional detachment is complete. But this is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you are stronger, wiser, and more empowered than ever before. You've just walked through one of the most powerful processes of emotional detachment. From accepting reality and cutting off contact to rebuilding your identity, reframing your thoughts, and channeling your emotions, you've been reclaiming your power every step of the way. But the real victory? Forgiveness and release. Letting go of the past so you can fully embrace the future you deserve. Because the truth is, healing doesn't happen overnight. It happens through consistent, intentional actions that put your well-being first. As Eckhart Tolle said, sometimes letting go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on. And you've just unlocked that power within yourself. Remember, emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about reclaiming your peace of mind and rediscovering your strength. It's about building a life so fulfilling and authentic that someone else's presence or absence doesn't determine your happiness. You've done the hard part. Now, it's time to keep moving forward. Continue investing in your growth, celebrate your progress, and let your newfound peace be your guiding light. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on content that helps you become the best version of yourself. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Type, "I choose peace." If you're ready to release the past and reclaim your power, you are stronger than you think, and your journey to healing is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next video. Let me guess. You're staring at your phone, fighting the urge to text them. Your heart is pounding, your mind's running wild with questions. What if they've already moved on? What if I never hear from them again? It feels like you're standing at the edge of a cliff, wondering if reaching out will pull you back to safety or push you over the edge. But here's the truth. Chasing them right now is like trying to catch a shadow. The more you reach, the more it slips away. The great philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "By letting go, it all gets done." And I know, that sounds impossible when your thoughts are consumed by them. But what if letting go is actually the key to getting them back? Avoidant exes are wired differently. The more you push, the more they pull away. It's not because they don't care, it's because they fear closeness. And the more you try to bridge the gap, the wider the distance becomes. Instead of trying to close the distance with words, it's time to speak through your actions. Actions that show you're stronger than the anxiety that's been controlling you. Right now, you're craving relief. You think texting them will give you closure or at least a glimpse of their interest. But here's the brutal reality. If you reach out now, when you're feeling desperate and anxious, you're not showing them strength. You're showing them fear. And fear is the exact energy that pushes them away. Albert Einstein once said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." That's why reaching out from a place of anxiety will only lead to more heartache. The solution lies in changing your approach. It's about stepping back and letting them feel the void of your absence. That's the only thing strong enough to make them rethink everything. The good news? You have more power than you realize. And when you truly understand how to harness it, everything changes. It's not about ignoring them to play games. It's about reclaiming your sense of peace and letting that energy speak louder than any desperate text message ever could. Now, I'm not saying your ex is gone forever, but if you want them to come back, you have to give them the space to realize what they lost. As the great Rumi said, don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. It's time to start unfolding yours. And it begins by not reacting from a place of pain. What I'm about to share with you in this video is going to change the way you approach this entire situation. You're going to learn how to truly shift the power dynamic in your favor. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what you need to do to make your avoidant ex rethink everything. Don't give in to the urge to text them. Instead, commit to this process. Stick with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal will empower you to take back control over your own emotions and your own life. If you're ready to reclaim your power, type in the comments, "I am in control." And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because this journey is only just beginning. Let's dive in. Stay focused. Before you can effectively shift the dynamic between you and your avoidant ex, you need to understand their mindset. Avoidants are not heartless or incapable of love. In fact, they often feel emotions intensely. The problem is, intimacy triggers their deepest fears. Fear of losing control, fear of rejection, and most of all, fear of being trapped. As psychologist Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And that's exactly what your ex is doing. By pulling away, they are trying to avoid feeling overwhelmed. They are trying to protect themselves from the very vulnerability they crave yet fear. What happens when you reach out to them during this phase of avoidance? They see it as pressure. It feels like an invasion of their emotional space. And instead of pulling them closer, it drives them further away. This is why every time you text them out of desperation, they seem to grow colder, more distant, and sometimes even cruel. But here's the key. It's not your words that push them away. It's the energy behind your actions. Your anxiety, your need for reassurance, your fear of losing them. All of it screams insecurity. And for an avoidant, that insecurity feels suffocating. That's why they retreat, even when deep down they might still care about you. Instead of trying to force connection through texts or calls, the most powerful thing you can do is show them peace through your silence and stability. When you focus on yourself and genuinely detach from the outcome, you're sending a message far more powerful than words. You're demonstrating that you are strong, centered, and no longer dependent on their validation. Like Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control their reactions, but you can control your own. And when you master that, everything starts to shift in your favor. Now that you understand the avoidant mindset, it's time to embrace the most powerful tool you have: silence and detachment. This is not about playing games or trying to manipulate their emotions. It's about genuinely stepping back and giving yourself the emotional distance you need to heal and grow. Ironically, this also happens to be the only approach that can make them rethink their decision. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It's won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And right now, your ex's feelings and actions are completely beyond your control. The only power you have is over your own responses." Silence isn't about punishing them. It's about breaking the cycle of anxious pursuit. When you constantly reach out, explain, or try to fix things, you are essentially telling them, "You still have power over me." And nothing feels safer to an avoidant than knowing they have control. But when you stop reaching out, stop explaining, and stop begging for their attention, it does something profound. It disrupts the pattern. It forces them to experience the absence of your presence. Suddenly, the attention and validation they took for granted is no longer there. And that void, it's louder than any words you could ever say. Why is this so effective? Because detachment shows strength. It sends a powerful message that you are no longer willing to sacrifice your peace of mind for someone who cannot meet you halfway. And nothing draws an avoidant back faster than the realization that you are genuinely moving forward without them. As Buddha said, you only lose what you cling to. By letting go, you're not losing anything. You're reclaiming your power. And when you do that, something remarkable happens. They begin to question their own decisions. They start to wonder why you're not chasing them like before. And slowly, the fear of losing you becomes stronger than their fear of intimacy. This phase of silence and detachment is where the real shift happens. But the question is, are you willing to stick to it even when your anxiety tells you to reach out? Because if you are, the results will be undeniable. The hardest thing to do when you're missing your avoidant ex is to stop focusing on them and turn your attention inward. But if you want real change, this shift is essential. Instead of waiting by your phone, anxiously checking their social media, or replaying old conversations in your head, you need to reclaim your energy. As Tony Robbins wisely said, where focus goes, energy flows. And right now your focus is stuck on them, which means all your energy is being drained by someone who is not actively giving you anything in return. It's time to flip the script. Channel that energy back to yourself, into your own growth, healing, and transformation. Start by setting clear goals, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Whether it's hitting the gym, taking up a new hobby, or simply re-establishing your own routines, everything you do to improve yourself strengthens your emotional resilience. This isn't about pretending to be okay, it's about actually becoming okay. Why is this so powerful? Because when you focus on yourself, you're showing them, and more importantly yourself, that your happiness is not dependent on their presence. This newfound confidence creates a magnetic aura that speaks louder than any message you could ever send. It's the energy of someone who is fulfilled, who is growing, who is thriving. And here's the real secret. When you truly start prioritizing your own well-being, you become more attractive, not just to them, but to everyone around you. Like James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Creating systems of personal growth and happiness will rebuild your life from the ground up. In doing so, you create an environment where their absence no longer defines your happiness. Ironically, this is the exact moment when they begin to feel your emotional distance and wonder why you're no longer desperate for their attention. And when that happens, everything begins to shift. Now that you've started focusing on yourself, something important begins to happen. They start to feel your absence. Remember, avoidants push away when they feel overwhelmed, but they also crave connection. And when you're no longer there providing constant validation, it leaves a noticeable void. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." And your ex is no exception. They're avoiding their own emotions, trying to convince themselves they made the right choice by walking away. But when you withdraw your attention, their own thoughts start to surface, thoughts they can no longer escape. The truth is, the absence of your energy is more powerful than any message you could send. Instead of you chasing them, they are now left alone to deal with their own emotions. And this discomfort creates something profound: curiosity and doubt. They begin to question their decision, wondering if they've made a mistake by letting you go. This phase is essential because it forces them to sit with their own feelings rather than projecting their discomfort onto you. And during this time, they will likely experience waves of regret, confusion, and longing. What they thought was freedom now feels like isolation. What they believed was control now feels like emptiness. It's important to understand that this void isn't just about missing you. It's about missing the version of themselves that felt seen, valued, and understood when they were with you. That's what truly haunts them. And the longer you stay away, the more powerful that realization becomes. But here's the key. You can't rush this process. They have to feel the void completely without interference for them to truly understand what they've lost. And only then will they even consider reaching out. Once you've allowed them to feel the void, it's time to focus on rebuilding your identity. This is where true healing begins. It's about rediscovering who you are outside of the relationship and reclaiming your sense of self-worth. As Oprah Winfrey famously said, "You don't become what you want, you become what you believe." And right now, it's crucial to believe that you are whole, complete, and worthy of love and respect, even if they're not around to give it to you. Take this time to dive deep into your own growth. Reflect on the things you might have lost touch with while focusing so much on them. What are your passions? What are your strengths? What do you truly want out of life that has nothing to do with them? When you start answering those questions, you reclaim your personal power. Rebuilding your identity isn't about erasing them from your life. It's about integrating the lessons you've learned from this experience and coming out stronger on the other side. It's about building a life that you love, whether they're part of it or not. Here's a critical truth. When you rebuild yourself from a place of strength, you don't need their validation anymore. And when they sense that you're not seeking their approval, it's like an energetic shift they can't ignore. Suddenly, the balance of power changes, and their curiosity about you only grows. But most importantly, you will find something far more valuable than their attention. You will find your own inner peace. And once you've truly rebuilt your identity, they will have to approach you with genuine effort if they ever want to be part of your life again. Now that you've started rebuilding your identity, something fascinating begins to happen. Without even trying, you're sparking their curiosity. This isn't a trick or manipulation. It's a natural consequence of your growth and detachment. The person they knew, the anxious, needy version of you, is no longer there. This change is powerful because it disrupts their expectations. As Bruce Lee wisely said, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. You're no longer reacting the way you used to. You're evolving, adapting, and creating a version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you genuinely detach from the need for their validation, they start to feel something they haven't felt in a long time: uncertainty. They start wondering why you're not reaching out, why you're not chasing them, why you seem perfectly fine without them. And that curiosity grows. It eats away at their sense of control. Your silence speaks louder than words because it sends a clear message. You are not waiting around for them. You are not seeking their approval. You are not craving their attention. Instead, you're investing your energy in building the best version of yourself. And that energy is magnetic. It's important to remember that curiosity is a powerful motivator. It forces them to confront their own insecurities, their own fears, and their own emotions. They may even try to provoke a reaction from you just to see if you still care. But your newfound strength shows them something they weren't expecting. You've moved beyond the person they once had power over. As you continue to grow, their curiosity will intensify. And when they eventually reach out, it won't be because you chased them. It will be because you inspired them to rethink everything. But that moment of reconnection will only hold true value if you've genuinely detached and built something real within yourself. The final and most important key point is this. When your avoidant ex does reach out, you must decide from a place of strength, not from desperation, not from longing, but from a position of true empowerment. As Viktor Frankl wisely wrote, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that's exactly what you've done. You've transformed yourself from the inside out. Now, the power lies in your hands. When they finally text you, or when they make their way back into your life, it's crucial to ask yourself some hard questions. Do you truly want them back? Or are you simply seeking validation? Can they truly meet you where you are now, or are they still stuck in the same patterns? Your journey has been about growth, healing, and reclaiming your power. And now you need to be sure that letting them back into your life aligns with that growth. If you do choose to reconnect, it must be on new terms. Terms that respect your boundaries, honor your worth, and protect your peace. This is not about playing hard to get. It's about knowing your value and standing by it, regardless of their presence or absence. The most beautiful part of this entire process is that you now have options. You are no longer controlled by your anxiety or desperation. You are making decisions from a place of strength, confidence, and clarity. And that, in itself, is a victory. Whether they come back or not, you've already won. You've broken the cycle. You've proven to yourself that you can reclaim your own happiness. And even if they do return, you now understand something powerful. You don't need them to feel whole. But if they do return with genuine effort, vulnerability, and a willingness to grow, then and only then is a true reconnection worth considering. You've just learned the truth about dealing with your avoidant ex. It's not about chasing, convincing, or proving your worth to them. It's about reclaiming your own power and letting your growth speak louder than any words ever could. Because here's the reality. If they truly value you, they will feel your absence and be drawn back by the person you've become. But the most important lesson of all, your happiness, your healing, and your worth do not depend on them. As the legendary Maya Angelou said, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody, and now you're proving that to yourself. Whether they come back or not, you've already won. You've transformed your pain into power. You've rebuilt your identity, ignited their curiosity, and reclaimed control over your own life. This journey isn't just about them. It's about you becoming someone you can be proud of, regardless of what they choose to do. If they do come back, you will be ready. Not from a place of desperation or weakness, but from a place of strength, confidence, and self-respect. And if they don't, you'll still be standing tall because you've built yourself up from within. This process isn't easy. It takes courage, discipline, and resilience. But every single day you choose to prioritize yourself is a victory. You're proving that you are stronger than your anxiety, stronger than your fears, and stronger than the hold they once had over you. The power is yours now. And from here on out, you decide how your story unfolds. If you're ready to reclaim your power and break free from the hold they have over you, type in the comments, "I choose me." And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful video. This journey of growth and healing is only just beginning, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Stay strong, stay powerful, and remember, you are enough.